tale. I would just say it could be either or. That's what I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Law of attraction absolutely is real. Everything about law of attraction is real. You reap what you sow, what goes up comes down. All of these are different laws, So definitely law of attraction. I believe in that. I live that. The terror, real or fake? Terror is real, and I look at it from a perspective of I don't like to call myself a prophet, but when I was in the church, a part of the church, I was on the prophetic team. I was one of the head prophets. I was on the intercessory team. I was on all that stuff. Everything that you consider church, I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was in there deep, you know. But I use tarot as a confirmation to what I've already tapped in with my energy. You know what I'm saying? So every time that I've gotten a reading, and I try not to do this, every time I get a reading, I can tell them what they're saying before they even say it. You know what I'm saying? So I really use tarot readings as a confirmation to me personally. Um, Faith healing, I would say I believe in that as well because um, so as a man thinketh himself to be, so is he. I don't believe in sickness, and as I continue to go um, into my, and keep going on into my journey or whatnot, I'm finding to see that there's a lot of stuff, man, that subconsciously that we have downloaded that has to be unloaded,
Okay.
and new things need to be reloaded. And it comes to sickness, disease, all this different kind of stuff. That's we don't have to experience that, But there's life and death in the power of your tongue. That's what I believe. Um, Leaving one spiritual for another, is it wrong? I don't feel like leaving one spiritual for
Belief.
another is wrong. Believe one spiritual belief for another is wrong for the simple fact if we study, quote unquote, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, or whatever name y'all try to, acknowledge him as, he himself was spiritual.
Hmm.
He was never religious. He was never traditional. When he was first born, he had to go study in Egypt. So guess what he learned? Metaphysicalness. He learned Muslim. He learned it all. So what to call one thing evil and one thing good, we can't because you can learn from anything depending on the perception of your mindset.
Okay.
So I don't feel like it's wrong for you leaving one spiritual belief for another because you can learn anything that you put your mind to. That's me
Okay.
personally.
Okay. Thank you for your explanation. I want you to mute the mic. I'm gonna go up to chaotic good now. Before chaotic speaks, I want to say this about truth. Okay. If the definition of truth is that a fact or belief that is accepted to be true, if that's one of the definitions for truth, then your belief system is true for you. The way that chaotic and anyone else in here believes is true for them. Who's wrong? This is what I want to know.
Hmm.
Before we get an answer on that, chaotic. Go ahead, honey. I know you about to come
Well,
in here with your extras.
no, not at all. I don't know where you get that from. I'm always respectful of people. I only met
No,
you once, and I
no,
think
I
I was
mean
very
your
respectful.
on how you feel is what I mean.
Um, I mean, as far as these things, I feel part of it is blocked off. But is the Bible fiction?
Oh, hold on one second. I got you. Um, Brian, let me
I
drop you
mean,
real quick. Hold on one second. I'm sorry about that.
no worries, not at all.
I'm gonna let you back up, Brian. I want them to be able to see what's being said there. So it is the Bible fiction? Is the law of attraction real? Is tarot real or faked? Fake. How do you believe in faith healing? And is leaving one spiritual belief for another wrong?
Okay, so the Bible is a man-made religion and
I'm
a
gonna let you
man-made
guys
God.
up who are in there, by the way. I'm letting everyone up who is requesting. So please don't remove your request. We just want to give everybody an opportunity to speak. I believe in everyone being able to express their beliefs, whether they have no belief in anything or a belief in everything. Go ahead, chaotic. Sorry.
Sure. So to me, the Bible is a man-made. The Bible and Christianity in general is just a man-made religion, a man-made God to control people by fear of either sin or eternal damnation. Throughout history, the Bible has been used to manipulate people for various reasons, and most of them were political in nature. Um, as far as the laws of attraction, I don't believe in it whatsoever. Uh,
Okay.
Tarot reading is absolutely fake. Tarot reading is just using um, open-ended logic. It's like a 50-50 chance that the the tarot reader who is saying these statements, everything they're saying is like a 50-50 chance that it'll be true or false. It's
Okay.
a
Okay.
really high probability.
Okay.
Okay?
I kind
Faith,
of like I kind of like where you're coming from with that part because okay, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, you sent me a reading last night, and
No, that wasn't me.
oh, really? That wasn't you?
I do not reach out to people in their inboxes. Those are people are doppelganging me, trying to prey on people that are connected to my profile. I do not message you for any way, shape, form, or fashion, asking for money and telling you some sort of reading. No, that's not me.
Yeah, nobody asked me for money, but I
Okay.
just found it really strange that, I mean, I only met you yesterday, and later on that day, somebody sent me a reading, and I tried to respond to you. Um, but regardless of the fact, I just feel that it's fake. Like it's the way it's done. I mean, you have to be somewhat skillful though. If you're a skillful person, I mean, I can pull 5 cards out of a deck, my deck of cards that I play blackjack with, and I can make up something for each card, and I can come up with these statements that are open ended with a 50% probability, and I could probably be accurate at a very, very high rate talking to anyone. I mean, I could say something like, you know, I sense that someone in heaven is really missing me. What's the probability of me talking to somebody and
Mm,
someone in their family have died? It's a
okay.
very high probability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I like it. Oh, hold on one second, chaotic. I see a lot of you guys commenting this. I do not message you. They're copying and pasting things into everyone's inbox. They're asking for money. A lot of people are trying to debunk me as a spiritual life coach. They're already doppelganging me. I never message you unless you have spoken to me personally. I do not do that. Unfortunately, I cannot get them removed until my trademark is completed. So you can report those. Report collectively different 2, report collectively different 1, and they have a 5th one that they've joined out there. I only have this page and collectively different 777. I do not message you. So any of you guys who got a message, I think it's an inside job from the tick of taka ticker ticket. We're not gonna talk about it, but it's not me, guys. Go ahead, chaotic.
Okay. So yeah, I was really surprised, and more so, I was kind of taken aback because when I talked to you, you talked about authenticity and things of that nature, and all of a sudden, I got this message from who I thought was you, and not only did I get the message, when I talked to people that I know, they all got the same copy and paste message. So I thought, I mean, either this person is really ignorant and
It
actually thought that
frustrates
like
me.
we would never get together and discuss this and figure out that we all got the same message. Uh, I don't know, but you said it wasn't you.
No.
Faith healing. I have a simple question for that. If
Okay.
you had if a family member that you loved, or a family member, even yourself, if you had some sort of cancer, would you ask for a faith healer to heal you, or would you get chemotherapy to save your life?
Okay. Now listen. I'm gonna tell you my honest response on this.
Sure.
Okay. When it comes to doctors, doctors are just as much propaganda as religion is. Okay? And here's what I mean by that. The medical industry is built off of billions of dollars to keep you coming to the doctor. Okay? Now, are they wrong in the things that they do? No. The science does prove that certain things that they give medically can help you. But most of the time it only helps the symptoms. So if it was me and I had chemo, I would take my information from the doctor, and excuse me, I had cancer. I would take my information from the doctor and I would seek out chemo. I would also seek out a holistic healer to match with the fact of what they're telling me to do in the medical world, because also all natural can help heal as well. Now, that's me. Would I just go on faith? Hell no. You have to abide with both. Now that's how I believe. Would I ever tell someone to just go on faith and just believe and not go to the doctor? No, I would never tell no one that. I believe you have to connect with both and be smart and go to the doctor and get your blood work and get your blood tests and take the pills that they tell you to take. If these pills aren't harmful and going to create more issues, and yet also find a holistic doctor who can help you with some natural healing so that you can deal with both. Now that's me.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend that she's a registered nurse. She's in charge of a whole ward, and I hear echo. Hold on, let me turn this off. But yeah, she dealt with people that had these sicknesses, and where she's from, religion is huge. Religion is very big,
Okay.
and it's to a point where people are literally sick and dying. You know, they need medicine. They need these medicines, these chemotherapies, these things to help preserve or try to save their life. And the preachers literally tell them, like, if you take this medicine, we're kicking you out of the church. You're no longer a part of our religion. You know, our faith is going to heal you. You pray and you're going to be healed. And everyone that did that, they all died. So I would say, in my opinion, that if a person relies on faith healing instead of science, they're good as dead. Um, and leaving one spirit, you know, if you want to do that, you do that. My opinion is, you know, whatever makes you happy, whatever works for you, as long as you're not forcing it upon anyone else, that's perfectly fine to me. And
Yeah, you've
yeah,
always said
that's
that. You've always said
yes,
that.
and that would be my take of everything that you have here.
Okay, okay. Thank you for answering, Kay. Listen, listen. Yeah, listen to what he's saying, okay? He doesn't agree with everything that I say. I don't agree with everything he says. But both Chaotic and a few of the people in the comments, and even Praise, I believe Kenny down there, they have a belief in absolutely nothing, but they do have a belief in treating people right. And it should be okay that everyone thinks different. And this is the point that I'm trying to get to by having these conversations. If y'all noticed, they don't believe in any of it. And they have their basis on why they don't believe. Just like the rest of us here have our basis on why we believe.
Yes, I believe in science. You know, I
And
believe
that's
in
okay.
strictly
So
science.
you're a
Mhm.
logical thinker. You have to have science that proves you don't let me explain it a little better here. Some people have to have science that proves why a particular thing happens. For us who believe in the supernatural, we don't have to have science to prove why a particular thing happens or exists. We just have that belief system. And it's okay to be either way.
No, I disagree. I think we definitely have science and we use science to prove that things exist. I mean, if you look in the past, a lot of beliefs, a lot of mythology, legends, and even religions, they actually made up these gods because they didn't understand things. And now that we have science, we can say, well, you know, thunder, we can understand why thunder and lightning occurs. You know, back in the day, they thought it was a god named Zeus that did it. So I
Yeah.
do think science helps in that situation.
Okay.
Um, and I'm over here reading your comments and stuff, and I know other people want to talk, so I'm just going to be quiet. Thanks for having me up so I can, you know, state my
Yep.
facts as far as what I believe
Of
and what I
course.
think of
No,
this
thank
list.
you. These are
Okay.
I record these conversations and I put them on YouTube because these conversations need to happen. And thank you for coming in and being respectful and giving your opinion. I came into your live, so I appreciate I appreciate how you feel.
No problem.
I'm think I'm really really on the side of chaotic here. When I as 31 years of being a Christian, I think were the worst years of my life, and I think that the Bible is almost 100% nonsense to almost 100%. I mean, there are some life lessons in there, but they aren't lessons that you couldn't learn in any other facet of your existence, right? You can learn all these things by just living life. The Bible doesn't say anything. All its supernatural jargon is completely ridiculous, and I don't know how we can continue to adhere to it when it's been so destructive throughout its entirety. I don't know how it came to be that it well, I
Well,
know how it came to be.
wait a minute. I got a
It landed
question,
on
Keith.
every continent.
Hold on,
Yes,
Keith.
ma'am.
Now, I want to say this.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not
Yes, ma'am.
that the religions or the supernatural or the supernatural belief has been so chaotic. It's the people who have used these spiritual beliefs or religion in incorrect mannerisms to mistreat, harm, control, and do certain things to people.
I,
Those are
I
the
think it
ones
was
who have
written for
made
that.
it so chaotic over time, that has made it so bad for people to where I can understand why you feel that it's all a mess.
I think that it was written specifically for that purpose, right? For the purpose of
Probably.
control and to make the dissension of the mind is what I believe it was for. Right? I don't know that you would tell someone that you're dirt, you're not good, and this thing that created you made you not good. None of it makes any sense, and it's been the worst thing that humanity. It's been the worst thing brought upon humanity since like the other gods weren't that bad, but this one was Yahweh is truly the worst thing that's ever happened to us. And once we if we got rid of it tomorrow, I think the world would be a better place, right? At least America would be a better place, and we
Okay.
get that shit out the Senate and the House of Representatives. I think we might make some headway without people, saying weird things that don't align with the reality that we're inhabiting. The law of attraction, I don't understand. I know that we witness things, we look at them, and we tell what's happening, right? And but I
What
don't think
do you know
we
what the
truly
law of
understand.
attraction is before you even answer on it?
I'm thinking that we have energy that some energies are attracted to others, and I don't know
It's
that would
Yes
basically
be
and no.
karma,
untrue.
It's
Keith.
just basically a philosophy suggesting. So it's a philosophy, and I don't know who came up with the philosophy, but it's a philosophy suggesting that positive thoughts bring positive thoughts and positive results into a person's life, and the same thing on the negative side. Negative thoughts bring negative results into a person's life. So it's the positive and positive, negative and negative. That's the philosophy. Um,
We there's no way to prove it, and if it is real, like it could possibly be real. So that one I couldn't say no to that one.
okay.
Tarot, my man just said it 50-50. Somebody gives you some vague stuff, and then all of a sudden you say, you know what, oh man, you're going to start a business, and then all of a sudden they've implanted that seed in your mind, and then you go out and you start yourself a business, and 50-50 is going to be successful. 50% of people are going to be, oh, thank you, tarot card reader, it was wonderful, you did everything that I need you to do, this was great. I now own this workout center, and it's amazing, and you did this for me. And 50-50, it's going to happen. 50 it's not. So,
Okay.
or you give something vague. As far as faith healing, complete garbage. Complete and utter garbage. I think the power of the mind is very powerful. So I think that if a
Okay.
person thinks that they can be healed, and they use their mind, and somebody convinces them, I think that they could actually control it. We could control our bodies in ways that we don't really understand.
That kind of sounds
So
like a law of attraction, what you're saying there, but go ahead.
that, and like I said, that's why I don't deny the law of attraction. That the attraction could be real. That could be
Okay.
happening. Leaving one spirituality for another
Mhm.
is not right or wrong. It's just what you find most consistent with the reality that you're inhabiting currently. Right, whatever
Okay.
you're experiencing is what you think is right. And I can't imagine that you leave. I left Christianity, and then I was an atheist, and then I was like, you know what? I don't really believe in the Norse pagan gods, but it's a great way to live. Like, it's an honorable way to live, having read the Hat of Maul. So I was like, you know what, I could adhere to this, but I don't believe that Thor makes thunder.
Okay.
So I have to leave the gods behind. I know how thunder is created, and the high and low pressure systems, and the atmosphere. There's atmospheric pressures, and you have the speed of atoms. They rub together, and all of a sudden we create this energy, and it comes down to earth, and we know exactly how it works now. So I have to write that off, unfortunately, but
Okay.
it is a good way to live. So some are good ways to live, but other than that, I don't think there's any real root or grounding to them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your and I appreciate you and everyone else who comes in and speaks against it. No one has to agree with these topics
Yes,
at
ma'am.
hand. This is the point of these conversations, guys. Do you
Yep.
see how everyone's being respectful? And even though some of these people don't believe in shit lick of what is up here, but they are being respectful with what they're saying. And this is what I'm trying to get to, because in most of these religions, they don't know how to have respectful conversations. They're cursing you out for your beliefs. They're telling you you're going to hell. They're telling you you're
Yep.
absolutely wrong. And I don't like that. People have the right to their opinion, they have the right to their belief system. It's over
Yes.
4,000 religions, and there's also people who have no religion. They have no belief whatsoever, and that should be okay. This is what I'm trying to get to, guys. What everyone believes should be okay, because if the definition for truth is a fact or belief that is perceived or believed to be true by that individual is exactly that, well, he feels truth. He feels his truth. He feels his is truth. He feels his truth. She feels his truth. Everyone has a level of truth based upon their experience. Some people have it based upon logic. Some people have it based upon many things. And we should be able to agree to disagree and get along. And religion is dividing everybody. I just want y'all to know that it's dividing everybody. I've watched my girls block so many people in these comments who come in with their bull crap. It's dividing everybody. Y'all should be able to hear everyone's opinions and take from it what you want to take, what resonates with you, and dismiss what does not resonate with you. It's as simple as that. Kenny, do you have anything else you want to say, honey? There is some more people down there, but I want you to give anything additional before I drop you. I'm not one of those weird people.
Can I say something really quick?
Oh, sure.
Just to clear up the inbox thing, you sent me a message that was totally different from this account. That was you, correct?
Yes. So when I sent you a message and told you I was getting ready to go live to do readings the other day, that was me speaking to you. The person who sent you messages giving you a reading, I do not reach out like that because
Yeah, I
number
never
one,
got that message.
okay,
Everybody else did, but I had gotten like we had talked back and forth, and I just wanted to make sure that was you because I feel weird if it
that
wasn't,
was
because
me.
that
I
was
just
more of a
wanted you to
personal
know
thing.
because you guys necessarily don't believe in it, or I
Yeah.
wanted y'all to know that I do that. So when y'all catch that live, you know, or you see that, yes, that is me helping people, but I do not message people at all, just saying, oh, I sense some negativity and the spirit of the divine is showing me this and send me money now. People, they're trying to mess up my name on this app already. I don't even
Ma'am.
have 5,000 followers yet, and they're getting real busy. So yes, no, that was not me, but that
I'm glad
conversation
you
we
cleared
had,
that
that
up
was
because I was really upset when everybody else had that message, and I was like, I defended that girl, and I was like, she seemed like really cool, and I'm really glad that wasn't you because
I'm sorry.
I was upset.
I
Unfortunately,
think you're
I
a very
can't
nice
block
person.
it. I cannot block it until if all of you guys who are sitting in here right now, the 89 people in here, if you have followed me, they're going to message you tonight. They're
Really,
following my
really.
lives, and they are freaking relentless. They even try to follow
What?
people. I am a religious trauma advocate. And so people comment on my religious trauma lives, and they're reaching out to those people, and those people are hurting. And it angers me. Oh, it angers me. It boils me, because why reach out to people who are hurting and fake something for money, and then yet mess up my name? So I'm going live almost every day that I can, so people know that it's not me.
how would we arrive at a conclusion about whether or not, like, would it be these things are private, and I understand that you want to do these things one-on-one. Is there ever a circumstance or a time when someone could witness this and then look and see what the outcome is, right? And that way, for someone who just likes data like me, I could compare and contrast what it is that was said, how it was spoken, and what the outcome of the individual that you were speaking to comes to be, and then I would be able to arrive at an accurate, not an accurate decision, but at least an informed decision as to whether or not something like this, it could be viable or and usable, and maybe perhaps helpful within a society.
Now, what do you mean? Are you which one are you? What are you talking about up here?
Like what you do, what you do, not just what you do. Like when you read tarot, and if I could, like, look at the outcome versus what you said, and then
Please
it
offer
seems
me and
like,
Kenny a tarot, and I mean, you could definitely probably witness that.
Yeah. So
would
I
it
just
be
Kenny
want to say
would
one
possible
like
for
more
me to
thing
do?
Kenny would
before I
like
go.
for me to read him. So tomorrow, when I go
Hmm.
live, before I actually go in helping people, because if you don't really believe in it, it's fine. I would say this. When you go to the link in my bio, most of these readings and conversations are on my YouTube. You can go there and look at some of them and skip through and see if you feel like I was really genuine. Most of the people that I've ever read for, they're either crying or I have read things that I probably should not have known, and that's because I'm genuinely a seer. I have been like that all my life. So I try to use my gift to help people. So ultimately,
Okay.
if you felt like you wanted to come to a conclusion to see if it was something where it's really helping people, I would say just, sit back in one of the lives and actually analyze. Some people do sit and analyze my lives. And some
I would love to do
people,
that.
you can, and I have no problem with it. And till this point, till this day, um,
Yes, ma'am.
no one has told me yet, and I don't know, no one has told me yet that I've been wrong. Um,
Okay.
I tend to pray before my lives and ask the spirit of the divine to give me guidance to help people. Um, and I try not to make people cry, but they honestly sense that I am sensing something. And so they honestly tell me, like, you're spot on, you're spot on. Sometimes I don't even honestly know if I'm being spot on. I just know what I'm sensing or what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing, and I speak it.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
If you send me a message, when you get ready to do one,
Sure.
if you'd allow me to witness it, I would be more than honored to do so. And
Look, you're more
and
than
I don't know
welcome
if
to. Y'all
anybody
can pick
believes me.
through it if y'all want to when I am done and we go into your lives where you don't believe it and y'all want to talk about it. We can pick through it. I don't care. I'm
You
an
got it.
open person, y'all. I'm not one of those people who are mad, who is upset for the fact that it's something you don't believe in. Everybody has something that they don't believe in. Everybody has something that they do believe in, and that should be okay.
I'm
Absolutely.
witnessing that you're kind. That's what I'm witnessing. I'm witnessing you have genuine
Oh,
kindness. Your kindness
Keith.
is real. So, the one thing that I can say is that I'm seeing a decent human being that I'm speaking to right now. I don't know whether you have divine powers or whether you have the ability to see anything, but I do know that a person that is decent sits before me. So I'm going to get out of here, let the other people come up here,
Thank
and I
you.
will wait for the next time. And you have a great day. Bye
Of
bye.
course,
Hey,
I
Keith,
will
it was really
send
nice
you a friend
seeing you.
request right now.
You as well. You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Deidre. Y'all have
Thank
a good
you.
night now.
You as
So
well.
you've been
I
Kenny.
get,
really cool. Just wanted to add really quick before you talk to Kenny. You've
Okay.
been really cool because we've bombarded you. There's like 15 of us in here. So we
I
all
love
came
it.
in at once.
Look, it doesn't bother me at all as long as someone isn't cussing someone out and just automatically treating someone improperly. I don't care. Girl, listen, first and foremost,
A lot
before
of it had to do with that message. I was really upset, but I'm glad that it wasn't you because I was like, listen, this girl like inboxed me. She was like, hey, like, that's okay if you don't
I'm
believe. Like, I'd
so
be off
upset.
for reading this and
I'm
that. And I'm
so
like,
upset.
what? How did this happen?
It's making me look bad, and all my girls know, my moderators, everyone who really follows me know I don't do that. And first of all, man, I'm gonna let the rest of you guys speak, and I'm gonna let you guys in. I see 3 requests. Um, before I came on this app to do it, I talked to one of my ex-husband who is a pastor on the Pentecostal and apostolic side, and I talked to a friend of mine who is also a spiritualist, and I said I don't want to do this on this app because there's so many fakes on here already. Spirit of the divine, what do I do? Because all I want to do is really help people. That's all I've wanted to do all my life. Even when I was in Christianity, the way that they were mistreating people, I was against it. And so I wanted to help people in my own way. And so when I started being a spiritual life coach after I got some certifications, I said, okay, I'm gonna go live and I'm just gonna do what I can to see if I can help people. And then as people started beginning to say, "Oh my God, you're spot on. Oh my God, you don't know me from a can of paint." And they were following, and they were, people would send their cash apps, and some people who didn't have money, I would still help. It's not about money for me. Even though I have a business, even though I'm licensed with the IRS, I have insurance, and I'm running an actual business. I'm not reading for fun. Um, it's
You need to be
frustrating because
reciprocated for your energy.
they just come in and they're messing up my name already. So, but thank
I
you guys
appreciate you
for coming in.
clarifying that.
Yeah, I'm always going to clarify it. There's a video link on my page showing the accounts to block. It's right. It's pinned. They have 3 more pages. A collectively different 777 is my backup page because I tend to get targeted because of my advocacy for religious trauma, and so I made one additional page just in case.
Okay,
So,
awesome. I don't know if Kenny has. Kenny, do you have anything
Kenny,
to
did you
say?
have anything else you wanted to say before I let some more people up, sweetie?
No,
Okay. Okay.
I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in and speaking your truth, and you as well, sweetie. Kenny, I'm going to drop you because I got 3 requests. And then Glory, you can say whatever else you would like to say. And thank you for coming, honey.
Okay.
I am so mad.
No,
That just upsets my soul that they keep just requesting everybody who follows me and sending them some bull crap. Upsets my soul.
hey, you know that comes with the territory, though.
It does.
It
Doppelgangers.
comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. I just want to say this last thing. I'm gonna get out of here too. I gotta go get the money.
Go
But
ahead, Glory.
I want to say first of all, I appreciate you, Queen, for even
Yes,
having
you
this type
did,
of
honey.
platform. You
Hold
know what
on,
I'm saying? It's,
Glory.
it's very.
Thank you, Chaotic. Yes, you did. You always do. I'll come and talk to y'all's as well. You know how we do. Thank you for coming. Go ahead, Glory. And then
No, I was
after
just saying.
Glory, we're gonna go to Reaper and then Nora.
No, I just wanted to say I appreciate you having this on your platform, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I went through a couple on here, man. You know, Jesus is God and God is Jesus. You know, and people want to argue with you and all different kind of stuff, man. But I appreciate you just having a platform where people can really say what they feel and they not be blocked. You know what I'm saying? And made to be belittled. You know what I'm saying? And made to feel like they're stupid or they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I greatly appreciate you having a particular platform. But just to speak over overall, I feel like this: it's all an individual journey. Whether you whatever denomination or belief you choose to be, that's up to you. At the end of the day, there's no one to tell you what's right or wrong because at the end of the day, whatever's truth to you is going to be truth to you. Whatever might be a truth to you might not be a truth to me. And we don't have to believe what everybody believes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I had to get out of. I had to get out of that. I'm a Christian. I have to abide by Christian rules. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that, right there. I wasn't allowed to talk about other stuff. I was told, when I thought about when I was talking to, when I asked the pastor this question. I said, well, if Jesus is God, if we look in the scriptures, who was he talking to? Was he talking to himself? You know what I'm saying? Like these were things that pastors didn't want to answer. They were like, why are you asking me this question? You're supposed to just believe, just read and believe. And I stopped doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, man, it's like I feel like whether you're a Christian, Muslim, whatever, 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 be that and be happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody come into your experience and tell you, well, you didn't experience this. That's not true. This not true. How do you know? We only know by experience. We only know by what we choose to when I say this, don't take this the wrong way, manifest through our own thoughts. Because our mind
I'm not
is the
taking it
key.
the wrong way.
Our mind is the key. And a lot of people don't know what the subconscious mind is or the conscious mind is. So it's like you said, we have to open ourselves up to other knowledge.
Yes.
Stop letting people demonize, because that's what me and you were done. We were demonized for what we believe.
Yeah.
We were demonized. You demonized now for what you do.
Yeah.
But you can't be
I'm
demonized. You
demonized.
know what I'm saying?
All of my Satanists and non-believers or atheists that were in the comments that were joined in, they're demonized for what they do. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Everyone's demonized if you're not Christian.
If you're not Christian, exactly. If you don't believe what I believe, you're going to hell. Then I, through the study of understanding what hell and heaven is, it's high vibrational and low vibrational. It's simple. It's that's to me. If you want to believe in hell, you believe in hell. But I really feel like the fear is what's going to keep people from experiencing their best their best self. I would tell anybody, go on a journey to discover self. If it takes you, getting away from anything religious, traditional for a season, do it. Because a lot of people really don't know themselves. You're trying to get to know religion and tradition, but you don't even know you. So it's like, I just wanted to share that, and I'm not going to talk y'all to death. But
Go ahead. Thank
I
you for
appreciate
joining. I
y'all having me
appreciate
here.
it. And you know what? Another thing I wanted to say to you, Glory, before you left, did you know that Satanists or Satanism, they don't necessarily believe in Satan? The word is just a word of rebellion. They believe in like 7 or 9, and don't quote me, but I just learned this. They believe in principles on how you should treat others, and that if you mistreat them, they can treat you the way that you treat them back. Is pretty much what
Mhm.
they believe. Did you know that?
That sound like reaping. That sound like reaping and sowing to me.
But they don't even believe in Satan as a figure. It's just that they use
Wow,
Satanist as a title of rebellion, pretty much. Crazy, right? But we was taught in
that's crazy.
Christianity that they follow Satan. But
Right. I
mhm.
mean, that's a whole nother conversation when you
Yep.
get into talking about Satan and Lucifer and all different kind of stuff, because we know Satan, Lucifer, Jesus, God, brothers and fathers. But we're not gonna go there. So if you want to put it on if you want
Yes,
to go on
it's a
that
title.
particular
It's
plane,
definitely a
but I'm not
title.
gonna
It's a
go there tonight.
metaphor. Yep, see?
Absolutely,
Correct term is they
absolutely.
use it as a metaphor. And a lot of people think that they follow the devil.
Right, right,
Thank you
exactly.
for
You,
joining,
you're absolutely
honey.
right. But I appreciate your love. But I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Let me go ahead and request you. All right, and who we have here, the Reaper. Come on in.
Good evening, and first off, thank you for having me in.
Of course, thank you for coming in.
All right, so ask a spiritualist. I go at things a little bit differently than some of my fellow Satanists or atheists
I love
or
y'all, by the way. I joined their live a couple of days ago and saw their conversation, and they were very respectful to me about the fact that I believed different, and no one mistreated me for the fact that I believed different.
well, one of the rules of Satanism is when in another's lair, show them respect, or else do not go there. And if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy.
Yep,
So,
I
with
just
that
learned
being
that.
said, if you are being respectful, you will receive respect. And as this is your lair, I will show you the respect that you deserve for your lair.
They really
So,
do
is the
believe this,
Bible
guys.
fiction?
Do your research. Do your research. Go ahead.
So, is the Bible fiction? No, because the Bible was written by man. Is the story in the Bible fiction? Yes. I'm sure there's in some way, shape, or form events that are related to what happened in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
But the actual whole concept obviously was written for manipulation, was written for political control, was written for control of the masses and to gain power.
Mm-hmm.
Now, law of attraction.
Okay. Is law of attraction real?
So we're going by the law of attraction. Basically, what you put out there comes back to you.
It's a philosophy suggesting that yes, positive thoughts bring positive results, negative thoughts bring negative results. How do you feel about that?
I'll disagree with that because
Okay.
positive and negative are also subjective. One person's positive thoughts is another person's negative thoughts.
You know,
What you can consider positive, I can
okay.
consider negative, and what I consider negative, you could consider positive.
Okay, because subjective is based on or influenced by a person's feelings, and so based upon that definition, of course. Continue.
So I'll say the law of attraction is not real because finding situations where you can disprove it just by the whole concept of it being subjective would destroy that law.
Let me ask you a question then,
Sure.
before you answer the rest of them. Would you, since it's subjective, right? Would
Mm-hmm.
you say that maybe karma would be better?
Karma is not real.
Hmm. So you don't believe that what you put out, you get back in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it's good or bad?
Nope.
Hmm.
Everything you do has a reaction. We live in a chaotic universe. So everything we do has an equal and opposite reaction. Now, that is not saying what you do positive comes back positive or what you do negative comes back negative. That's basically saying every action that you do has an equal and opposite reaction of that.
Okay.
I choose to do something, whether that is positive or negative, again, is based on what I consider positive or what I consider negative. Other people may disagree with what I consider positive and negative.
Of course.
But everything that I do has consequences in the universe.
It's worked for me too. But and before I say something, hold on one second, Thigh Reaper. I didn't mean to cut you off, sweetie.
Go ahead.
So the law of attraction and everything else that Reaper and everyone else is saying is based off of a belief system. Just because the law of attraction works for me and you, what he feel believes and anyone else feel believes works for them because that's what they believe. That's how they feel. So ultimately, it's all a part of a set belief system. Go ahead, continue.
So everyone does have their own beliefs. I mean, people can believe in whatever they want to believe. Now, whether those beliefs are factual or not, that's a separate story. And you have to ask, what is the relevance to
Okay.
that? If someone wants to believe that the sky is green, the clouds are red, and birds are robots, that's 100% fine for them to believe in. That has absolutely no bearing on my life, and that should have absolutely no bearing on anybody else's life. It's when beliefs start mixing into other people's lives, which is then becomes the problem.
Okay.
And that can be said for any belief system. That could be politics, that can be religion, that could be social beliefs, that could be anything. I am very much on the side of I believe what I want, you believe what you want, leave me the hell alone, I leave you the hell alone.
There we go.
Which is basically the rule number 11 of the 11
Rule number
Satanic Rules of
11.
the
I
Earth.
knew it
When
was a
walking in
number.
open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he does not stop, destroy him. Now,
Yep.
I do not believe in any form of spirituality whatsoever, which I guess now we're going to go on to tarot. Is it real or fake? So, as a Satanist, we have this conversation come up a lot about tarot, especially amongst other Satanists, where we have that conversation of, is this real or is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about tarot, the way I see tarot, because I know there's different ways of doing it,
Of course.
Each card has a different meaning. Each card has a different meaning and position. Each card has a different significance to it. Okay.
Yes. Oh,
The translations of the card, the meanings behind the card, are in a way as such that the person that is getting the reading, or if you're doing it for yourself, because Satanists have been known to do tarot for themselves as a means of opening their mind. Because what it does is we read the card, we read the meaning, and our subconsciousness relates to whatever that is. So we can pull something out of our subconsciousness to think about it. So it is a form of, you can call it meditation, you can call it, mind exercise, whatever. I can do readings and go, okay, thinking this is, this is going on in your life. Okay. Now, as me reading that, I can go, okay, yes, this is going on. This is relating to this. This is relating to that. That is real. That is 100% real, because it is you are the one making the connection to it.
Okay.
Where I draw the line is when someone starts going through specifics, when someone stops going through cold readings and open questions and reading the tales of someone, going by body language, going by pupil dilation, going by looking for little things, because we have a name for this too in Satanism. It's called lesser magic.
That's very much so. Mm-hmm.
And all it
There's
is
lesser and higher magic. I've done my research on that as well. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
So lesser magic is applied psychology. You can use dark psychology. You can use manipulation. You can use a whole bunch of other things attached to it. Even the simple colors or the presence or the music or whatever can be triggers for people for you to get a specific reaction from them.
It's called manipulation.
That's what it is. It's not, and that's not saying that it doesn't take skill. That's not saying that it doesn't take, time and effort to, perfect, which that alone is the magic of it. That's like a magician doing a magic trick. That takes time to perfect. The sleight of hand, the manipulation. Look closer, the more you miss. Look at the wide frame, miss the little stuff. It's all about the actual presentation of it.
Question. Now, what would you say for a tarot reader who doesn't even see the face of a person, who doesn't even, like when I do my readings, I don't see their face. I don't even ask for a question. I ask them to give me their name. My moderators in here could tell you that people rarely have any time to give me a question. What would you say for those type of people? Do you say that they could
There's still ways around that.
fears?
There's still ways around that.
Okay.
There could be behind the scenes. There could be, stuff figured out days or weeks in advance. There could be, it's all a part of the thing. Not saying you are for sure, not saying you're not. I honestly wouldn't want to know if you are or not, because that takes away the magic of it. That takes away, the wow factor of it.
Of course.
Personally, for myself, after having dealt with multiple, I guess for a lack of a better word, spiritual people, tarot online is absolutely ridiculous. Doing readings online, absolutely ridiculous, because you are not next to the person, you are not feeling the person, you are not, if this is the actual practice, it has to be an in-person thing.
I can understand what you mean with that, because in person it's better for the actual person who does it to read energy, to read the individual.
Well, your energy has to go into the deck. Your energy has to go into that person for that person to read you. You're reading that person's energy. You're not telling that person their past, present, and future based on what they look like or their name. You're not telling the person stuff they've gone through or stuff they will go through. You're telling the person based off of the energy. You're feeling that energy going through. The energy is what's relating to the cards. The same way with rune reading, the same way with bone reading, the same way with any type of spiritual reading has to be done in person. Because otherwise than that, you're playing the guesswork game. You're playing the reading game. You're playing the research game. You're playing, all of that stuff, which again, hey, that, has absolutely no bearing on me because I would never pay for someone to read my damn energy. And in fact, the last time someone tried to read my energy, they got a paper cut with a tarot card and it bled into their deck. And they would never touch that deck ever again, and they would never give me another reading. And for anyone that knows about tarot cards, you are not supposed to be able to get a fucking paper cut from tarot cards.
Definitely are not. That person's energy was way off, but I'm not going to talk about that. Let me hush.
Faith healing. Let's go down the list. Faith healing. So I assume you're talking about older style of healing, Hellenistic healing instead of
more so miracles. A lot of people don't believe that things
miracles are not real.
Happen, but
miracles are not real. Miracles are based off of probability, based off of mutation, based off of things that we cannot explain at the current moment.
Okay.
Because there was a time where we could not explain why certain herbs worked, and these herbs are now being mass produced in chemicals and being sold in pharmacies.
Okay.
So it's just because we can't explain it now doesn't mean we won't be able to explain it later. And that's the whole concept also when it came to gods and goddesses and such like that. Just because we couldn't explain it then, we gave it supernatural, names, pantheons, whatever, until now we can explain why these things happen. And there's nothing wrong with it. We were primitive creatures at that time. And granted, now we are still pretty primitive, but, we've at least expanded a little bit more on our understanding of things.
Mm-hmm. So question, outside of miracles, do you believe that someone can believe that they would be healed or that a particular ailment or illness would leave their body and it can happen?
Talking about placebo effect? Maybe. They believe in it strong enough that it actually could be a thing?
Correct.
So that could depend on the person, that could depend on the condition, that could depend on the history, that can also depend on genetics, that can depend on so many variables when it comes to why something happens.
Okay.
And the quickest thing that we do is we look for the answer that makes the most sense. And for a lot of people, that is something that cannot be explained. So therefore, it is some form of divinity, it is some form of supernatural presence, and that's something we've been doing for the longest time, especially even with magic. And like I said, manipulation, going back for the root of magic was simply just wise men. And that was wise men being able to manipulate others to get, what they wanted. And then they taught their select few people who taught their select few people. And all it was being more intelligent, was being more understanding than the common population of people were. They were the people that could actually, read the stars for direction. And they just claimed that, reading the stars, this will happen. Yet they could also have told many other things that were happening and made the correlation between the two. And the simple people could not understand that correlation. So they believed it to be magic or the work of gods. So do I believe that someone could believe themselves to get better? It's not out of the realm of possibility, but is it actually them believing enough for it to happen? No. I think it is, again, there's so many factors. There's so many different things. I mean, our body is always healing. Our body is always growing in some way, shape, or form, replenishing cells, replenishing skin, you're going into immune systems, you're going into your diet, you're going into how much you take care of your body before you got sick, you're going into a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay. All right. And for the last one, is leaving one spiritual belief for another wrong?
All right, so again, we're going to go by wrong is subjective. What I can consider wrong, you may not consider wrong, or what you consider wrong, I may not consider wrong. So I find it interesting. A lot of people that have left, the three, the monotheistic Abrahamic religions, right? Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, right? Those three religions, which are the most indoctrined, which are the most, manipulation for people. Which, first off, I want to point out, I don't believe that religion is ever the problem. Religion is never the problem. The concept of religion is never the problem. It is the people that use the religion to justify their actions, which they would have done otherwise, but without justification. So
Okay. See, y'all see
religion is
what he
not the
said?
problem.
Hold on,
People
hold on
are
one
the
second,
problem.
Sky Reaper. This is what I'm trying to get to right here. And then when
Can
he
I
gets
just say
done
something
speaking,
really?
I'm gonna let Nora speak. Hold on, Kat.
Okay.
When he gets done speaking, I'm gonna let Nora speak. Well, I'll let you speak and then Nora, so you can get yours because she's been sitting here waiting. That's my problem.
No, I just wanted to say something about the comments. Like,
What's up?
really quickly, I am not a Satanist, and I'm speaking up on the behalf of this live in general. Be respectful, people. Like, don't be saying that he's got
Okay, don't
negative
worry
energy.
about them.
Don't do
They
that.
we have a relationship. I've been in their lives. That's why I specifically when I see
He's
them
No, it's
flow
other
in.
people besides the people that came in
Oh, okay. The
with
other
them.
people.
It is other people. I'm speaking out saying, as a human being, have some decency. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
No. It's okay if they wanna pray for me. That's fine because I'll pray for them in my way, and my way is much more fun. My way involves destruction ritual. My way
Yeah.
involves a lot of good, fun stuff. So you want to play? You want to pray for me? Go ahead and pray for me. In fact, I encourage it.
Look,
Pray for me so I can disprove that your prayers work.
listen.
But going back to
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the
Kat,
leaving one spiritual
I'm gonna
for
let you
another.
finish what you have to say, Kat. Don't worry about the comments because unfortunately, as my platform gets bigger and I allow myself to connect to a realm of a bunch of a different type of people, including Satanists, including atheists, including all of that, they're going to continue to come. The most that you can do is just remove the people who are being extremely disrespectful and bullying because they're
Right.
not
And
going to listen.
I'm trying not to remove them because like this is very educational. I'm learning things myself and I'm trying not to remove them. I'm about to start muting them. They can still stay here, but what we're not going to do is try to say things that are going to be manipulated into harmful things. Like come on, like this is a positive platform for us all to understand each other and as human beings, as people, and our belief systems. That's the entire purpose of this.
Of course, of course.
Oh, and because I did see one thing, and I do want to address this real fast.
Go ahead, Reaper.
For the person that mentioned something about sacrifice, especially to us Satanists sacrificing younger things. Let me make sure I'm very abundantly clear about this.
Of course.
So,
And he's only being clear
Satanism,
about this because of the way that you guys came at him, because Satanists actually believe that they're not supposed to give people advice. Okay?
so here's the thing. Satanism, rule number 9. Why is it rule number 9? Because for Satanists, 9 has a very magical power. It's a very strong presence. Rule number 9. Do not harm little children. Find me any other religion that has the similar rule. Oh, while we're at it, rule number 5. Do not make sexual advances unless giving the mating signal. Find me another religion that has the same rule. You're dismissed. Leaving one spiritual religion for another. I find it is very easy for people to do so because they, especially from a theistic point of view,
Okay.
because you've already been indoctrined, you've already given up so much of your life believing in some type of theistic belief that it makes it a lot easier to just transfer that belief to something else that is against Christianity or,
Or
against the
whatever.
monotheistic religion. You go from monotheistic to polytheistic,
Okay.
or you just go for spiritual. But there's still that element of fantasy. There's still that element of, unprovable. So there's still that comfort. There's still that familiarity that people have when it comes to, is there a God? Is there not a God? Are there gods? Well, if you're easily able to believe in a God that there is no actual viable proof for, what stops you from believing in any other God that now you just go against the concepts of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism? It's a lot different going from a theistic belief to a vital existence belief where you see past the smoke and mirrors, where you see past everything, that people try. So is it wrong? I would say it's a waste of time, personally, for me. I would say going from one spiritual belief to another is a waste of time instead of believing in yourself.
Okay. Okay. And so, and in Satanism, you guys believe in self, correct?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams.
Okay. Nice.
Going through the 9 satanic statements,
And I've read them just recently, so I just learned this. So for all of you all who are here, I'm going to let Nora speak right after this, but would you mind reading them the 9 satanic statements so that they can know you guys don't believe in Satan? Just listen to this, guys, and I want you to do your own research. I'm not trying to force anyone to.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go out of the room just for a second, but I'll
Okay,
be right back.
no problem. I want him to read this to you guys because, and this is why I love different beliefs and different people. And this is recorded, guys, so I'm gonna put it on my YouTube. But listen, just listen to what he's gonna say.
So would you mind if I actually read the 11 rules and the 9 statements? Just because there are
Go ahead.
some interlapping, but there are differences between the two.
I would not mind at all. Go right ahead, sweetie.
Okay. I want to first go through the 11 satanic rules of the earth. Number 1, do not give opinions or advice unless you are asked. Number 2, do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them. Number 3, when in another's lair, show him respect, or else do not go there. Number 4, if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat him cruelly and without mercy. Number 5, do not make sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal. Number 6, do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to the other person and he cries out to be relieved. Number 7, acknowledge the power of magic if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. Number 8, do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Number 9, do not harm little children. Number 10, do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or for your food. Number 11, when walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he does not stop, destroy him. So that's the 11 satanic rules of the earth, by Anton Szandor LaVey, copyrighted 1967. Church of Satan was formed in 1966. Now I will read directly from the Satanic Bible, the 9 satanic statements.
Go ahead.
1, Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Number 2, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Number 3, Satan represents undelphied wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Number 4, Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of the love wasted on ingrates. Number 5, Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Number 6, Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of the concern of psychic vampires. Number 7, Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse, than those that walk on all four, who, because of his divine, spiritual, and intellectual development, has become the most vicious animal of all. Number 8, Satan represents all the so-called sins as they lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. And number 9, Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, as he has kept it in business all of these years.
Now, I wanted y'all to hear this. I'm going to get you back up, Kat. I wanted y'all to hear this, not because I wanted anyone to fully transfer over to Satanism or transfer over to what I'm saying, but did y'all hear what they believe in? And all this time we've been taught in religion that these people worship the devil. Reaper,
Well,
why
I
is
mean,
it
the whole
called
concept of the
Satanism?
devil was created by Dante's Inferno and Paradise Lost, which was after the Bible was written. So there was no actual representation of the devil. Satan itself simply means the adversary, the opposer, the accused in Hebrew. So that is why we use it, because Satanists are the adversary of the monotheistic Abrahamic religions. Satan is we are Satan, basically. So we use it as a descriptive title. Which again is not to say that other people shouldn't believe what they believe. We simply just reject the concept of any type of spiritual pipe dream. We believe in vital existence.
And that's okay. So,
like I said, what you do has absolutely no bearing on me.
Of course.
As what I do should have no bearing on you.
No, and it does, but I love getting a better understanding of, and one day when I have a live to talk about a bunch of different religions, I want you guys to come back in here when people come in to talk about voodoo and hoodoo and Satanism and everything, because it gives people an opportunity to see the truth instead of just automatically assuming. And what you do, of course, has no bearing on me, and what I do, of course, has no bearing on you, and it shouldn't in any way, shape, form, or fashion. What everyone does should never have a bearing on what someone else does unless they're immorally mistreating people and harming people. And that's how I feel.
Even then, if it doesn't bother me.
You did say that in the last.
But I also I lack empathy and I lack emotion a lot of the time. Not because I'm a Satanist, because of who I am in general.
Okay. That's understandable. Thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for giving your opinion, and thank you for being honest.
I am nothing but brutally honest. So whether you ask for it or not, I will be honest. But thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. Awesome. You can come anytime, sweetie. Nora, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Hi. So first of all, I'm not a Satanist, but I have a lot of friends that are. I'm a solitary spiritual practitioner. I'm not Christian, but I respect all religions. I don't really care. It has no bearing on me whatsoever. It has nothing to do with my spiritual path, what someone else believes in. Do I think the Bible is fiction? Well, first let me say the difference between belief and knowing. What I believe doesn't necessarily mean it's what I know. It's just what I believe. I can only operate at the level of where I'm at. And at my level of where I'm at, it just doesn't make sense to me. So it kind of appears to be fake. The law of attraction, I think, is real because if you have whatever you qualify as positive, because that is subjective, whatever kind of thoughts you have do lead to certain actions. And if you are, sometimes for some people being negative motivates them, like some people thrive under chaos. But if you feel that you're going to fail at something, for example, you're probably not going to pursue things because you're just going to be worried you're going to fail anyway. So that would be kind of an example. So on that level, I do. As far as karma goes, that's a Hindu concept, which is that the afterlife. This is what happens to you in the next life. But I do believe that there's a cause and effect. There's negative things lead to negative things, they lead to consequences. So, as far as tarot being real, I think it can be real, but I don't think everyone that does it is real. And I believe there's a lot of scammers out there.
Yes, unfortunately.
And I can't decipher who that is, but I've had tarot readings from people that were very specific, just really very specific. When I go to a tarot reader, though, I don't go to a tarot reader looking for a specific answer. I'm looking for guidance. I'm looking for like something that I need to work on inside myself, maybe a little direction, I'm not really there. So I do tarot readings, but I don't do it professionally. I do it for myself or my friends or people I'm close to. And the way that I do it is we come up with some questions. We have some cards with symbols on it. And it just kind of organizes the conversation of questions I can ask the person that can help them sort of come to the conclusions on their own. So in that way, I mean, people are thinking it's like Hollywood, where you're like, oh, I see in a crystal ball, or hold on until your future. And that may be how some people do it, but there's so many ways of doing a tarot reading that's just too general. And faith healing, I believe it depends on how you want to take that, but people like the placebo effect, people can psychosomatically heal themselves. You can heal yourself through meditation. Like if you're hypnotized, you can heal certain parts of your body because your mind is very powerful, and that has been scientifically proven. So when I was talking about that in the comment section, that's what I was referring to, is that you can psychosomatically heal yourself sometimes. Because
I've guys. Go ahead, Nora.
And so that's I'm leaving one spirituality for another. That's not. I don't care. Like, I don't know if that's wrong or right.
No. If you don't care, listen. You can say you don't care on any of the matters. It's not gonna bother me one way or another. If you notice, I've let people in here who don't have any type of spiritual belief whatsoever. They believe in logics, and I have no problem with how they feel. So please continue.
Yeah, and I'm okay with like I have a lot of friends on here who are satanic, who probably think my beliefs are total BS. And I'm fine with it because what I do, I don't really want to indoctrinate anyone. I feel that gives me a little bit of an edge. I'm good with it. And also I've met a lot of people who follow my spiritual beliefs. They have different names for it. But I feel they do dabble in, and they say they don't, and I think they're full of crap. So that's why I'm solitary, so I'm not trying to indoctrinate anyone. I just know for me having spirituality brings me peace. I don't use it to necessarily attain things, though I could. I do it because there's a lot of stressors in my life, and it can be very relieving to go into deep meditation or connect with nature or to burn incense or whatever I do. It's calming and soothing for me. So in that regard, it has a purpose.
Okay.
I mean, like, so some people, it just that doesn't work for everybody, and I'm actually 100% okay with that. I don't try to indoctrinate anyone or change their minds. And when they make fun of me, which sometimes I've heard them make comments, oh, it's all BS. I'm like, that's fine. I'm used to that. And you've been doing.
And they believe that. Well, so if you just heard what he stated with the 9 principle, the 9 and the 11. I know the 2 numbers. I don't remember the names, but I know their principles. If you heard what he was stating, what they believe is in logic, particularly. Okay.
Yeah,
so if a person believes in logic, that means they don't believe necessarily in anything mystical. And so for those type of people who believe in logic, then yes, it is BS to them.
Right. And I have total acceptance of that. But I have a feeling that you've been doing this a while, just like I have. and I'm pretty sure you're used to it like I am. And I just accept it. Like my best friend is a devout Christian. She's fine with it. She's just accepted, like she's just accepted that's how it is because I stand true to what I believe and she feels good about her belief and I'm good with it. And I'm used to people having that. And it makes sense that they would feel that way because logically speaking, there are just some things that don't make any sense, unless you've experienced certain things yourself. Like it wouldn't make sense to a logical person. That's why I say it's a belief, not a knowing. That's just how I feel. But
Okay,
that's
Nora. Thank you so
there.
much for how you feel, and thank you for being honest.
You can buy a Ferrari with my 2 cents. All right, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you for joining. You're welcome to come anytime. Listen, I will be having many topics on spiritual subjects, any subject. I'm very, very versatile. I want to give people a safe space because I'm noticing in TikTok land and in Tube of You, ain't much safe without shutting somebody down for their belief system, and we shouldn't be bullying people. We should give people the opportunity to express how they feel. Excuse me. I'm anxious to hear people I don't know. Kat, before you go, I need to let Mental and Maya Goddess go.
Oh no, you're good. I just was I came up because I was really interested and you kind of asked some of the questions that I was going to ask um to the Reaper. So
Oh
I
yeah,
wanted to make sure.
that's why
Yeah.
I asked him because they don't in Satanism, they're not going to offer up the information unless you ask. They're not told they believe in not giving advice. So I had to ask because if we didn't specifically ask, they weren't just gonna up and say it.
Oh, you mean that they're not going to be pushy with their beliefs like some of the people in the comments? How interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They are not pushy with their beliefs.
Sarcasm.
They're not.
Sarcasm implemented. I'm muting now to give the ladies in the box a moment to speak.
Of course. Thank you, Kat. So, mental art. I appreciate you for joining us. Um, we don't want people to
Thank
be.
you.
I appreciate you for joining us. And give us your opinions on how you feel, sweetie.
Oh, thank you. So I should say that I do come from a Christian background, but I no longer believe in Christianity. So, I don't necessarily believe in the Bible and it being actually, I mean, real to a certain extent, but I feel like in the way that we use it, um, to like I don't believe in the laws that are created because they are in the Bible that we should live by those laws, and a lot of people do believe in that. I don't. Um, I do believe in the law of attraction. In my opinion, I feel like to me that's a manifestation. I believe that anything that you attract in your life is a manifestation that can come from you and what you decide to manifest. So, um, I also do I'm kind of iffy about tarot readings because I don't have any personal experience with them,
Okay.
but I do think that they are real, and I think that people should be educated about going to the right person to seek advice on like anything really. Um, I am kind of I think that faith can be a healing thing, but I feel like it depends on how you use it. Like I feel like to me, my healing may not look like somebody else's healing. And especially for me coming from Christianity, I will say that coming from that, it looked like anger for me. Being angry for so long and not realizing why I was angry. And, having that religious trauma. Um, and I definitely think that you can leave one religion or spiritual belief, and I don't feel like that is wrong. I feel like you can do that and, you know, still be on the right track, because we all evolve and become better people, or, you know, we become different versions of ourselves throughout this lifetime. And I feel like in that, you have different experiences with your religious belief, your spiritual beliefs. All of those things can evolve as you evolve.
Okay. Okay. I thank you for how you feel, and it's for the Terra. If you feel that the Terra is you haven't had a personal experience, and this is not me trying to draw anyone to my lives. If you want to, you can come to my live at any time and dissect what I do and see how you feel. I've told the Satanists the same thing. If they would like to come, they can also dissect as well. There are fake people on this app. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. People just do it for money. I have a business. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I use my cards as a totem of connection to help people. Um, as a spiritual life coach, I don't need cards. I can talk to you about anything spiritually or naturally that you may have a question on, or not have a question at all. I can just see and speak into specific things. People on this app are using cheat sheets, and they are um, guessing, and they are trying to manipulate energy. And there are some real people who are really helping people. And unfortunately, because there are so many fakes, it's definitely being viewed as a bad thing. It's definitely being viewed as a bad thing. So just I'm glad that you came in and you said what you needed to say, and always continue to research. Always tell people, do your research in every religion, every spirituality, and everybody should always find what resonates with them.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. And thank you for joining us today. Let me go ahead and add a couple of more people in. Mental art, you can join anytime. I'm always going to have discussions, and I'm going to drop you down so I could let somebody else in. Okay, sweetie?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. And thank you guys for joining. Tap the screen. Let's get this out there, and let's see if we can even get some pastors in here. Me being an ex-first lady and an ex-Christian, I want to see if we can get some pastors in here. We can get some Catholics in here. I want to see how many people timeline we can get this on to get some conversations going. It was a blessing to have the Satanists come in. It was very refreshing to hear. I had read on it, so I already knew about it, but it was refreshing to hear it from a specific Satanist, to know that what we were to, it could be an open-minded pastor, it can be a closed-minded pastor. I just want to hear what everyone has to say concerning this. Maya Goddess and then Miss Queen. Maya, how are you, sweetie?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful, and you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I just came across your I was kind of, because I'm kind of growing in my spiritual journey, and quite like you said, refreshing to hear the Grand Reed, he was on there. I could feel his energy. He might not. I could feel his he was speaking. Before I checked, I could energy, the darkness, what he.
Wait a minute, honey.
Whatever I could sense.
Honey, you're breaking up, and I want to hear you clearly. Can you drop down and come right back in?
Yeah.
Okay. Drop down and come right back in.
If I need to drop, so
yeah,
you
Kat,
can
I'm
get
gonna
more
need you to
people
drop.
if I
There's some
can.
more people requesting.
Yep, no worries.
Hold on one second, Miss Queen. Let me get her back in here, and then you would be after her, okay? Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all for being a part of the live today. Just try to make it a safe space for a discussion. I see a lot of people being bullied on this app, and outside of my spiritual belief and my connection with the divine, I don't believe in bullying of any kind whatsoever. You should be able to speak how you have to speak. You should be able to feel how you feel. And we should all be able to agree to disagree, period. What I do is what I do. What you do is what you do. Just like Mr. Reaper said, what I do have no bearing on you. What you do have no bearing on me. But let's talk about it. Go ahead, Miss. Go ahead, Maya Goddess.
So I was in the comment that he didn't believe in energy, but because I'm an empath, I feel energy. It doesn't matter who you are. I can feel what you are about or in your. And before I even got to know him, I knew on the dark side of things. I could feel all of it. And
You
he's
knew
very
who you knew who was on the dark side.
the Grand Reap the before I even know what his name is alone, I could sense what he was doing and I could feel that energy. And then I went and tapped on him and because I'm on my journey, I sometimes second guess myself. But when I tapped on him, I oh my goodness, so he and then I just said, okay, my energy is growing. But there's a lot of things that he was saying uh, I could agree with. Because when I was 15 years old, somebody gave me um, that thing that he wears around his neck. Somebody gave it to me. They could feel that I was either between that side or not that side. But I was wearing it proudly, but I didn't know what it was.
Let me ask you a
And that is
question. What made you feel that he was dark? A Satanist in general isn't really dark or light. They just have a set of beliefs. So, what made you feel that he was dark? Because it's the person in general, if they're a dark individual, they follow and do dark practices. Nothing about the 9 and 11 things he read was dark.
no, I'm not saying dark in a bad way, but he was not in the Christian sense of things. He was
Oh, okay,
more
okay, okay.
yeah. So he was. I knew already he was, didn't believe in Christianity at all. Okay, and it kind of like made me think about what my journey was because I originally was going over to that side. I used to think like that, but I'm now not. I'm not think of anything now. I'm me. I am my own entity,
Okay.
my own being.
Okay.
Yeah. So, um, but
What do you feel
I
about
used to.
the questions up here?
Well, I can see. Hold on, let me just see.
I can read them if you can't see them. Is the Bible
Yeah,
fiction?
it's. I don't think it's fiction as fiction like that. But I don't really ebb to that now. I just know that a lot of the things that's said in it does um complement a lot of the things that we are doing, like universal. We know there's the universe out there. We also tarot reading is in there. Satan is in there. Do you know what I mean? All the things that the Bible says is all in there. But I don't believe all of it. It's just it doesn't work for me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work. Because there's so much different issues that I can pick up in there. You know, if you're saying the Bible's this good, why would you go and murder and kill and this and that? It doesn't sound right, you know. But with my journey now, my journey is very it's 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 coming to me slowly, you know, and I believe in the universe and I believe in law of attraction. I believe in all of this stuff because I can say things and it will happen
Hmm.
and it's not by mistake. it's not by mistake, and my family come from a very powerful line. I
Okay.
mean, sometimes I don't say things like silly, like try not to, because if I do, it by moments later it happens, you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
And my son has that ability. My mum has that ability. Um, yeah. So I'm very grateful in my path and growing. So I do believe what you do, tarot readings and all that. I may not be as professional as you, but I can do little things, and I'm growing with that. So yeah, it's I just wanted to come in here and just say my piece, just to say that there is different forums of religion, and we should respect them all. Do you know what I mean? To a degree, you don't might not like that one, we might not like that one, but it's there. People have their choices, you know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for coming in and giving your opinion on how you feel. And I appreciate you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Thank you. Um, Chaotic, did you wanted to say something really quick before I let Miss Queen speak?
Yeah, please. I was just taken aback because you mentioned dark, so I didn't think we came across as dark or evil. So I just wanted some clarification, but I guess the young lady explained herself.
Yeah.
Um, since Reaper was speaking about Satanism, I wanted to share a little bit more about Satanism. I
Sure.
wanted to tell you guys what the nine satanic sins are, because most people don't know that they're actually sins in Satanism.
I forgot to ask him to say that. Yeah, there
Yeah.
are.
So,
I've read
uh,
over it. Before you speak, Miss Queen, go ahead and say it. You
yeah.
guys
So I'll
have to
just say it real
scream.
quick. It's just nine times, right? So the number one sin in Satanism is stupidity. Number two is pretentiousness. Number three is solipsism. Number four is self deceit. Number five is herd conformity. Number six is lack of perspective. Number seven is forgetfulness of path orthodoxies. Number eight is counterproductive pride. And number nine is lack of aesthetics. So these are the sins in Satanism. And just like there are sins, there's actually satanic virtues. And most people will never know about satanic virtues because they don't really get into it. But the number one virtue in Satanism is intelligence. Number two is competency. Number three is acceptance. Number four is self awareness. Number five is individuality. Number six is perspective. Number seven is appreciation of history. Number eight is pragmaticism. And number nine is refined aesthetics. So I just wanted to share that real quick with you guys. And I wanted to change up my profile picture because, Reaper was stealing the spotlight. I had to show myself. I'm kind of sexy myself. My girlfriend's in the comments. But, but you guys have a good evening. Take care,
Look.
everybody.
Thank you. Y'all, boy, I'm glad I'm engaged. I gotta remember I'm engaged. Whew, getting married next month. Y'all gonna cut all that out. Y'all are very beautiful people, and I'm glad that I had the chance to speak to a couple of Satanists because, to be very, very honest, in Christianity, I was taught so many incorrect things. And over 7 years ago, when I did my research into becoming the way that I am now, I have learned over time that there is just so many ideologies that were lied about. Thank you, thank you. There was so much ideologies that was lied about, and I definitely am excited to have given you guys the floor to speak about that, and I would do it again at the drop of a hat. Oh God, Miss Queen, go ahead. Thank you for being so patient, sweetie.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Um, so I'm very spiritual. I've been on my spiritual journey since, let's say, 2016. But I honestly feel like I've been on a spiritual journey my entire life.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I never connected to Christianity or any religion. I never connected with it. I was somewhat raised in it, but when it came down to it, it just didn't register with me. It just didn't sit right in my spirit.
Okay.
So as a kid, as a kid growing up, of course, when other kids ask you, what religion are you, or do you go to church or something like that or whatever, I would always claim to be Baptist because I did go to a Baptist church, right?
Okay.
But when I got older, I want to say around 16, 17 years old, I stopped it. I stopped claiming that religion. It wasn't, because even as a kid, even though it didn't feel right to me, I wouldn't say that because, your parents and, people of faith would get on your butt about that.
That was because of
So,
indoctrination, but go ahead.
so when I did get old enough to where I could speak my own mind and didn't care about what others felt or thought, I never said I was spiritual. I was just like, I don't necessarily get off into all that, religious stuff. I'm just a child of God. I believe in the Most High, and that is it. And everything else is irrelevant to me, or whatever. So anyway, come around 2016, I really went on my spiritual journey, searching for God. Like, I knew that I had a connection with him, but I wanted to, because of Christianity, being honest, because of Christianity, I felt like maybe I do need to be a part of this, because I was like, I didn't want to be praying to the wrong God, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I can't do this, you know what I'm saying? I need to know that I'm in the right place. So I dibbled and dabbled Christianity. I dibbled and dabbled with, I I didn't necessarily join these things, but I just, researched it and just fell into a few of the religions
Okay.
that's around. So what I end up coming up, basically, what I realized in these religions is that, like, one of your questions is the Bible fiction? Okay, I believe in every religion there is truth and there is false. It's a definite doctrination for people to for them to have some type of control. You know what I'm saying? So, but there is some truth in there. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta, I just explain to people. This is how I explain stuff to people. If you want a real connection with the Most High, then build that on your own. Forget a church. Forget religion. I be telling them, like, I'm not saying if you want to be a Christian, be a Christian. But what I'm saying is that build your relationship with God on your own. Don't go to your pastor. Don't go to a deacon. Don't go to none of them people. Build your relationship with the Most High on your own. You don't need those folks to have a relationship with the Most High. If you truly want a relationship with him, he's going to know that. And he's going to show up and show out in your life. And that's just plain, just plain and simple for me. So, throughout my spiritual journey, and I'm still going through it, throughout my spiritual journey, but throughout my life, I have encountered some weird stuff that people would, well, it ain't weird. It's not weird to me now, but people would think it's weird, and I never understood it when I was younger, but now that I'm older and I'm on my spiritual journey, I'm like, wow, God, you've been calling me to this life my entire life, and I was missing the mark because of religion. And now that I am where I'm at and I accept it, and I truly gave myself over to God. I gave my entire life over to it. Here you go. I got it. You ain't got to keep being. I'm sorry it took me this long to get it. You know what I mean? But I got it. But now that I'm here and stuff, like, because my mom, she's spiritual. My family is spiritual, okay? But they're still into Christianity too, okay? And that's fine. But my mother used to read tarot when I was younger, right? And all of a sudden she stopped. So anyway, tarot been calling me ever since I want to say about 15 years old.
Okay.
Okay. And me going against basically fighting with Christianity and spirituality, I done bought, listen, throughout my life, I done bought so many tarot cards, never opened them up, threw them away, all this stuff because of Christianity. I'm going to keep it all the way 100. Okay.
Okay.
And anyway, when I finally gave into it, you know what I'm saying, I accepted my calling.
Of
I
course.
accepted it. So I go to my mom because right now I'm still learning. I just started, you know. So I go to my mom and I ask my mom, because she's already know it. I asked my mom, can you help me with this? Now, mind you, I didn't say this, but in my family, my mother has 5 children. I'm the second oldest of my mom's 5 children, and throughout my mom's, with all 5 of us, I'm the black sheep.
Okay.
I'm the one that didn't get the love. I'm the one that always, you know, I'm just the black sheep. That's just what it is. I accepted it. I've been accepted it. Okay.
Okay.
But I've always been the one that want a relationship with my mom, will never disrespect my mom, love her to death. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. But I don't get treated like that. So, anywho, I go to my mom, just, you know, still just trying to build a relationship or whatever. But also thinking like, okay, my mom know this. I shouldn't have to go through all these hoops to learn this when she can really teach me. Now, my mom doesn't work, you know, or anything. So it's not like she don't have the time or anything to help me learn it. You know, this, my mama told me, I'm gonna just say this. She ain't helping me, okay? So
because you
she
can't.
ain't helping.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm a spiritual life coach. If you would like to, I can talk to you. I know you don't have to book a session with me for me to help you. I'm all about helping people. So if you're lost on your spiritual path, if you reach in my bio and click sign up and send me your name and your number, I will never message you on here and say, oh, I have a reading for you or whatever. But sometimes people need some sort of encouragement as to where they should go and what they need to do. Some people who do tarot readings, some people who are spiritualists, some people who have a particular path, they believe that they will be accountable for what they teach and tell you. And so not all the time does anyone want to be accountable for what they speak. And they don't want that accountability on them. And so they don't even want to find it on your own. And so I'm willing to help you if you need the help and you want to walk into a particular path or way. I'm willing to help, sweetie.
Listen, I would appreciate it because I am like lost, and Lord knows. And I did not run across your live for nothing. I believe that.
Everybody says that when they run. I'm just a vet. I'm just helping. Thank you.
I promise you. I'm like, I just got done with prayer, deep prayer, and meditation, and all of that. And I got on TikTok, and 2-3 swipes, and there you were. And I clicked right on it. After I read what it said, I said, oh, okay, this sounds like something I want to listen to and be a part of.
Okay. All right.
But
send me
I
your
just want to tell
information and
everybody
I'll call you tomorrow, sweetie. I promise.
Okay, no problem. But I want to tell everybody, I want to send everybody love and light. And baby, it is a journey. Just stick to it.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for joining, sweetie. When you click sign up in my bio, send me your name, your number, your email address, and put a little note there for me, and I'll reach out to you. I promise.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Paul, and thank you for joining us. Paul, let's see, I'm gonna go in order.
It's Paula.
Paula.
Hi,
Hi, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. Just a quick apology in advance if there's any how do I say this? If my accent is too strong.
Oh, of
English is not
course.
my first language. But yeah, I wanted to talk about, but first I have to like get some things out there so you can like understand better. So I come from Eastern Europe, and the concept of church is so different than it is in America. So I've been
Okay.
in US as an exchange student for 2 years, and churches there are like a cult. It's a whole ass community and money washing, etc. So like that freaked me out at first because it reminded me so much of like just a cult and nothing else. Over here, people go to church like by themselves. Like, yes, we have priests, but there's no like such thing like as community, if you get what I mean. Like
Okay.
people are like all for themselves. Like they all have like their personal spiritual practices.
Wait, and where are
Also
you
like
in?
Croatia, Eastern Europe.
So it's not like a cult
And
out there.
no, it's very much different because people here don't have like a
Y'all
community
tap the
church or
screen. I
whatever.
need more additional different people coming in here. Come on, tap the screen. Okay. Go ahead. Continue, honey.
And so I don't know, like I'm just gonna say this. Croatia has like Croatians have been on this area since 7th century, and at first we were pagans, so our version of Christianity is still like very much mixed with our quote unquote pagan practices.
Mm-hmm.
And we have like those traditions just like woven into our culture. So that's like a very different from America. So yeah, I grew up in Christianity, but not in a sense that people usually get like when they think about Christianity. Um, we are not like avid Bible readers, etc. It's very much based on like spirituality and in your own relationship with God. And yes, Josephine, Croatia is Slavic. You got it right. um, so yeah, it's very different. But yeah, I just wanted to like get that out there before like I can move on, so you can kind of understand.
Oh no, thank you for letting us know. I
Um,
like to know where everybody is from because that gives me a good understanding as to, the difference. Like there's a definite gap as to what we do here compared to what you guys do over there. So yes, thank you. Continue. Tell me how you feel about
yeah,
this.
it's a different world. But yeah, I personally, I have no idea where I stand on like my beliefs because I had encounters with entities that I believe were sent by God. I do think that they were angels or could be angels. Especially after my grandma died, I was like really connected to her. And we have a thing here called Vlaška Magia, which is kind of like a magic / witchcraft practices that my grandma did believe in. And sometime before her death, she was like seeing badgers. She was hallucinating them. And we here, like in that practice, believe that badgers mean death, and they mean that you are gonna have to cleanse yourself after that, and you will probably reincarnate yourself. What's crazy is after my grandma passed, both me, my sister, and my brother, we all had kids in a span of 5 months, and they were all girls. So that was just like very much crazy to think, and they all had like some similar traits to her, like to her personality, and it was just like a confirmation for me personally that it's true what she believed in.
Okay.
And through those encounters, I was like, I do believe in energy. I do believe that there's like the highest energy, positive energy.
Okay.
But at the same time, I do think that the Bible is a man-made thing to fear people into obeying orders, into obeying these nations, especially white men who were creating it, who changed so much of the Bible and origins of Holy Mary and Jesus. Like, they were nomads from Israel, they were Middle Eastern people of color, and it's just like it's all so whitewashed, and it's lost its purpose throughout the years. So yeah, I do not believe in almost anything that Bible says. I do believe it was all changed to fit the narrative of white men in power. Second point, the law of attraction. Yes, I do believe in manifestation. I said it in the comments. I do think that people are not aware that prayer is manifestation, because if you're praying for something over and over again, that's literally manifesting, but they do not get on that.
Okay.
And this is a next point, tarot,
Is
real or
tarot
fake?
real or fake?
Okay, so I have a lot to say on this. I do believe that a lot of it on TikTok is fake, because
That's why it took me so long to figure out if I was gonna really do readings on TikTok, because honey, I talk about these fake talk readers. Ooh.
Exactly. Because here where I come from, it is believed that tarot is a vessel for entities to come through and bring the messages, and as soon as you try to like make money off of it, you are gonna lose those abilities. Like, that's what we here believe in.
Oh, that's what y'all believe?
Yes. So
well,
like,
I'm a spiritual life coach, so I mean I charge either way, but I still help people for free. So I charge for coachings. So I'm a little different. The people who are sitting up there, actually, that's all they do is just tarot. No, I help people mentally and physically. I have certification, so I'm a little different. But I get what you mean, though.
Yeah, yours, like, if you're strictly doing it, like, strictly for making money without offering any actual help, that's when we believe that you will lose those abilities. So yeah, I highly believe that almost 90% of people on TikTok are just these so-called witches on WitchTok trying to make money off of people just like looking for signs to do something in their life. And it's sad to see, because like the practice is real, but like the people who are doing it are making it fake.
There we go. That's that. I was waiting for someone to say that, because as a host, I don't want to be the one saying it and they're like, oh, she's just saying it because it's her platform. That's the problem with all religions, with everything that people are doing. It's the people. It's the intention that the people have that's making it a bad thing. For Christianity, for witchcraft, for whatever it is, it's the people. And ultimately, I do see people, they get on here and they just do it just for money. And it bothers me when I see that. Like, when people come into my lives, I'll tell them, the amount of how much a particular reading is, but I'll tell them to comment their name, because I'm still going to help you regardless. I'll tell them to reach out to me if they need someone to talk to, because I'm not going to charge you for a phone call. I just had someone talk to me for 2 hours earlier today. I didn't charge her for that phone call. She needed to speak. I didn't charge the other person last night for that phone call. They were going through something. Being a spiritual life coach is different than just sitting up there and deciding, oh, this is what I do every day. I read to make money. Like, how are you helping people? Where are you actually reaching out to people when they need help? Or are you only going to help them when they can pay you? I have a problem with that.
I'm curious to you for that. That's very nice. Like, it's the way it should be.
Even if I'm, the fact that I'm licensed and I have a certification and I'm licensed with the IRS and I have insurance and I have business accounts and I have everything set up properly, even though I have to report to the IRS, I can take a little bit of time out of getting paid and actually speak to someone who needs help. And that's what any religion and any spiritual belief where we claim to help people, that's what they should be doing. But in Christianity, they won't help those people unless you're paying your tithes. In other religions, they won't help those people unless you're giving up money or you're giving your life to 7 days in church. They don't help people unless you're doing what they're telling you to do. And I don't like that about most religions and spirituality, and that's why I'm having this conversation. I'm a very different person.
That's another thing where like our churches are completely different. Like people in America have to like pay to be a part of community, whereas here you can, if you want to, donate the money.
Exactly.
But that money goes out like over here, church is the best friend of LGBTQ plus community. They're not condoning them. They're creating a safe space for them because like over here we still don't have like any rights for LGBTQ plus people. Like the community like is protected by church. Transgender people here are protected by church, and like
that's crazy.
And that like brings me to my next point of like faith healing.
Can you state where you're at again?
Croatia.
So, and they're protected by the church out there?
Yes,
Well,
church
the US
creates
needs to
all
learn
of these
something.
communities for young teens. They provide shelters for them. So yeah, it's a really different thing than in US because over here we Christianity over here is different because it's led by love. And like that brings me to my next point about faith healing. So my best friend in the world, she's actually gay, and she is a hardcore Christian, but like it's so different. Like if you said that for someone from US, the only thing that comes to mind is a little yeehaw racist preaching that abortion is bad.
Wow.
Over here, it's like it's completely different. Like you can tell when someone is like Christian because they radiate the positive energy and they lead by love, and like that's the main principle of Christianity is to lead by love and to love everyone as much as you love yourself and the God, etc., etc. So like it's very different. So I do believe that like faith healing is a good thing. It just depends on how you were introduced to the religion that you're healing in.
Okay.
So yeah,
and how do you
that's
feel
pretty
about
much
is leaving one spiritual belief for another wrong?
I don't think it's wrong. I feel like people are constantly trying to find themselves, and I feel like especially people who were raised in a certain religion, let's say like I've met a lot of people who left Islam for Christianity and vice versa, and I don't believe that like they found meaning in that religion. I think it's more so they've been conditioned and used to believing in something, and when they don't believe in what they're preached, they're finding another next best thing to believe in. So that's but I don't think it's like if it aligns with you, I do not think that it's wrong to leave it for another practice.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in, and it was I'm so glad that this got to a different side of TikTok to get to someone all the way in Croatia, because I just recently had before you a couple of Satanists in here to explain a few things to the people who were listening, and people got a chance to actually find out that they don't believe in Satan. So that was real interesting. And so to hear from another country the way that you guys believe, that's also very interesting. So I am excited. I'm excited. Thank you for joining. You can come anytime, sweetie. I'm gonna have many conversations, trust me.
Thank you for having me. This is really fun. Love listening to you.
Of course, thank you. Angel.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful. Yeah, those who missed the satanic talk, listen. I'm gonna have my people back in here. I love them. They are very, very straightforward, very logical thinkers. And I'm going to have a live talking about a lot of different religions so everyone can come in and really speak about their religions, because we should have the ability to get along and understand that no one should be bullied for their beliefs. And that's why I bring these discussions up, because even though I'm a spiritualist and I'm an ex-first lady, I'm an ex-Christian, I used to help run a church, I don't like how people bully people on this app. And so yes, you guys would love to hear it. They even read the 9 and 11 principles of their specific beliefs, and you guys would actually love to hear about it. So thank you guys for being here, and the rest of you all who are here. I see some more requests. I'm gonna let you guys in soon as these two are done explaining how they feel. Angel, go ahead, and then Star, you'll be after.
All right. I guess I'll just kind of go down your line
Sure.
of prompts. So personally, I do believe that the Bible is fiction.
Okay.
I think there's a chance. I haven't decided if I think there's a chance that there are elements of like mythicized actual history in it, but I think that in general, the Bible is fiction. I think that its core message, probably when it started, was a good one, even though I do believe it's fiction. But I think it has been interpreted and kind of perverted into something else.
Okay.
You know, what it's been used for, because I think kind of the core of all religions is really the same if you break them down. You know, it's about, treating people well, it's about love, self-reflection, things like that. And it's explained in different ways, but that's kind of the core message of all the religions, which I believe in. But the Bible itself, I do think is fiction.
Okay.
And then as far as to, and then a little more about that, I personally, I know that this is not everyone's opinion, but I personally don't believe in Jesus or a traditional idea of God as a humanoid lawgiver who lives in the sky.
Okay.
What I look at God as the best in everyone, and I look at Jesus as a personification of the best in everyone and what we should be. But I don't think that he was real I don't think that he was real, but I think that he is a personification of all the virtues we should embody. So I think it's useful in that. And the odd thing, as someone who doesn't actually believe in Jesus, is that I will channel a Jesus energy and light Jesus candles. But again,
Okay.
because I think of it as like a representation
Tap the screen,
of the
guys.
best, of the best in man and what we should aspire to. So I think it has a good message. Whether or not he was actually real is kind of irrelevant to me. So yeah. And okay, and then the law of attraction. So definitely, I think whether you believe in it from a spiritual sense, where there's other things at work that we can't see, or even if you just believe in it in a very literal sense, where the people you surround yourself with and the activities that you engage in are going to put yourself in certain situations, and you will end up attracting a certain thing. Whether you believe in it spiritually or you believe in it literally, I think it's true.
Okay.
As far as tarot, I kind of, not exactly what the other lady said earlier, but I think just like any one of these sort of gifts, that most people who say they can do it can't, and or they can't do it the way that in the sense that we think it should be done. But I do think that there is a small percentage of people who do have the ability to somehow act as a conduit for one's own energy, because that's what I kind of view a tarot reader as, is like a tarot reader interprets you and gives it back to you, like kind of tells you about yourself.
Okay.
And so I do think that there are people who can act as a conduit for that, but I think that most people who say they cannot.
Okay.
So faith healing, So what exactly do you mean by that?
So, i.e., either miracles or the fact that you can believe that something, you can believe that you will be healed from a particular ailment and it happens.
Okay, so I would say that uh, your faith and your mindset is a piece of healing. I wouldn't say that you could heal yourself from, let's say, a gash by thinking about it. And I think it would be silly to believe so. But I do think that that's my personal opinion, but I do think that your mindset contributes to how quickly you may heal. It contributes to how quickly your cells may reproduce and to heal you. So I do think there's an element of how you think about it. But to say that purely by faith you can heal major things, honestly, I find kind of silly, because I don't know, it just doesn't happen, and we'd have an example of it, to look at, is my opinion. But I think there's an element. I think your mindset is important, just like stress can make you sick. The opposite of it can help you to be better.
Okay.
You know.
And how do you
And then
feel?
kind of
Is
go ahead.
leaving one spiritual belief for another wrong?
No, not at all. I think that it's an evolution, it's a path, you decide, one thing may suit you at one point, you may learn more about it and decide it doesn't. And like, who cares, right? Like, who's saying you can't do that? There's no rule. And, personally, I have, as I think her name was, her screen name had Queen in it earlier, said, I've dabbled in a lot of religions myself, Buddhism, just all kinds of things. And, what I do personally is I just draw from all the different faiths what
Okay.
I feel makes sense to me. So my faith is kind of a combination without a God. So obviously then someone who does that, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to draw what works for you from the
Okay.
different faiths.
Okay. Angel, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your belief and your understanding and how you feel, sweetie. You're welcome to join anytime.
you.
Trust, I have lots of conversations. You should have seen the religious trauma conversation.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Star, how are you, honey? I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
You hear me now?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. I've had a very interesting life. Um, I've always felt different than other people, and the things that I've been through. I mean, you would think that I'm lying because they are so out there that it's like, is that story true or is it fiction? And
Okay.
going back to the Jesus thing, I here in the end of times, which I don't call it the end of times, I call it the end of the darkness that was here, because the light's coming into play now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some of us that were given the spirit of truth, and not everybody gets to have that spirit. So when I read the Bible, I for some reason I interpret it a little bit different than most people. See, they have their set ways of reading it and explaining it, but it's very clear to see exactly what Jesus is saying. And I mean, I've had this conversation with pastors and all kinds of preachers and whatnot, and they don't understand how how I explain it a little bit different than they do. And but they always argue and they never want to see it for what it really is. It is true that the Old Testament is a lie. That's, I mean, and I could prove it with what Jesus said in his words. I believe that the only book that's worthy of believing is the walking book, which to me, the walking book is Jesus, the Word himself.
Okay.
Anything else that was written by anybody else is, well, he says it himself right here. He says that anything that is not words coming of his Father are not of God.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes, absolutely.
Before I ask you this question, let me advise you guys who are here. My name is Cece. I am a certified spiritual life coach, ex-Christian and ex-First Lady. I was born and raised in the church. I was a pastor's kid as well as married to a pastor. Okay. I am not here to come against anyone's spiritual belief. I'm here to have an open discussion because not a lot of times are people able to have these open discussions and really speak about different belief systems, why they believe something, why someone doesn't believe something. People are too busy bullying people on this app and in many other ways. And so this is a safe space to talk about why you do or do not believe in something and answer and or deny questions, whatever works for you. So we're here to have that discussion just in case no one knew where they were. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I will do this very often. So back to the question that I was getting ready to ask you. Truth, definition for truth is a fact or a belief that is accepted to be true. So if the Christians believe that their Bible is correct and the Islam, they believe that the Quran is correct and so and so. If everyone believes that they have accepted what they read and believe as truth to be true, who's wrong?
As far as in the truth, well, if we go back to Jesus again, and we read what he says, clearly he says that in the beginning the Word was, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and nothing came into existence that was not brought by him. He created everything. Then he says that he came into the world as a light, and everybody that he had put there were light also, but he came and he found them in darkness. Okay, so they didn't even recognize the light.
So
in other words,
are you a Christian?
Well, I prefer to refer myself as a light because even Jesus said that he was the light.
Okay.
So each and every one of us are that light, but nobody, if you tell anybody you are a God just as Jesus was, you get offended because you don't want to have that kind of power or that kind of importance. But that's not what he told us.
Oh, well, I definitely feel I'm a goddess. I mean, anybody tells me I'm not,
Yes, you are.
they can feel what they want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. And the thing of this is he even told his disciples, if you had faith in yourselves and you knew who you were, you could tell that mountain to move into the ocean and it will.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How do you feel about the
Yes.
law of attraction and how do you feel about terror?
About the law of attraction and about terror?
Mm-hmm.
Terror as, what do you mean by terror?
Hold on, Starseed. Okay. For those of you all who are new to this live, if you are Christians down in the comment, I will not mistreat you for the way that you feel, and I'm not that type of individual. I do not do bullying, but also if you believe differently, you have the right to believe differently. But in this live, I am one of those individuals who believe that your spiritual connection, your religious belief is your totem in a connection to the divine. That's your link. That's the way that you were taught. That's the way that you were indoctrinated. And that's the way that you were raised. There are over 4,000 religions. So all of those religions and all of those beliefs are totems in your connection to the divine. Everyone learns differently. Everyone believes differently. Your light and your truth is different than the person's light and truth who is way across the equator. And you guys have to respect that and stop bullying. Because there is no way to say that what I'm doing is incorrect and not of God. And there is no way to say that what they are doing right here, whoever these people believe in, what they're doing is incorrect and not of God. No one has the right to say that, and no one should be using their religious beliefs and or texts to say that every single thing another person is doing is wrong. That's what your Bible says. That's what the Bible says, yes. But what I'm saying is I'm talking about it openly because I get a lot of these things in the comments, and I want people to understand, yes, you have your spiritual belief. What I do is what I do, what you do is what you do, and people should be able to agree to disagree, because religion brings a divide. We all are serving the same God, and it's all taught to people in a different way, manifestation, shape, form, and fashion. And if no one believes in God, for the ones that don't believe, that should be okay for them too. So I'm trying to bring, everybody has the right to believe what they choose to believe, whatever resonates with them, because truth is a fact or belief that is accepted to be true. If you accept your Bible as true, it's true. If that person accepts the Quran as true, it's true. No one can tell you what you believe is incorrect. And that's why I'm having these lives, because I'm sick of the way that people bully people continually.
You're beautiful.
Not one time have I bullied anyone in this live, and I have had Satanists in here. Yes. And I loved everything that they spoke about. I've had someone from Croatia in here. I've had Catholics in here. I've had Christians in here. Please, you guys, let's have this adult conversation and really break some things down and talk about theories, and not just talk about scriptures from the Bible, and not just talk about scriptures from the Quran. Let's talk about history. Let's talk about, what really happened. Let's talk about proof. Let's talk about facts. And let's even talk about belief.
Well, that's kind of what I want to explain here, because
sorry about that. I just get really annoyed when they do that in the comments.
You're fine. Thank you. I'm not reading the comments, so like I avoid them, because nothing anybody can say is going to change the way I feel for people.
And that should be okay. The only thing that should change the way you feel, the only thing that should ever change the way you feel, is what you decide to research, to learn yourself, to make that change, whatever resonates with you. Everybody is on a pathway somewhere.
Yes. I agree with you. Okay. Yes, 100%. But I see. I think the word religion separates the masses, separates people. See, and there is no separation between any of us. And I think if everybody stopped focusing so much to see who got more knowledge and more wisdom, and we actually took the word love and put it into practice, as far as saying, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, sir. And we seen our women as we see our mothers, and our wives, we respect them as we respect our mothers. Mm-hmm. That's where the key's at, because Jesus said, women, love your children. Children, love your mothers. Okay. So that's key right there. I think everybody wastes so much time arguing with one another, and like you're saying right now, belittle, talking down people, and so much negativity, when they miss the whole point of what Jesus came to teach. He came to teach to keep a positive outlook no matter what. That's why he gave examples, like one day him and his disciples were eating at the table, and this woman comes with her hungry child.
We're not going to do the scriptures.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, my apologies.
No. So listen, I don't have a problem with you speaking about your belief. But I don't, the only reason why I don't do that is because I just try to deal with logics and the belief system, and they already get in
Yes,
the scriptures trying to badger people, but you can speak about a
right.
context of that event if you would like to. I'm being real honest.
No. You're, you know, I love that honesty, that because again, we shouldn't care whose feelings are going to get hurt, but you're being real.
I'm being real. I'm being real.
That
And
doesn't hurt
if
my
you want to
feelings.
talk
That
about the subject in the Bible, go ahead. It doesn't bother me. Just I I just don't like when people get real
no.
extra with putting scripture out
Yes, I
there.
understand.
Just go ahead, talk
But
about
what
it, and
happens
then I gotta let Josephine Witch speak, and I gotta let Angelica speak.
yes, but to continue with that, Jesus just came to teach us how to love one another.
Mhm.
And again, he said, if you know me, you know my Father, and on and on. But simply, if we practiced more and we got rid of all the guns, all the nukes, all of that, I think we'd be okay. Plain and simple.
Okay.
Learn to respect one another. I mean, because we're all humans. We are all humans. We're supposed to be the smartest species on this planet, but I don't see it that way because we are the only species that kill and kill animals and stuff like that, and it's that's not right. That is not right. I think anybody who has to hurt another person, it, I don't see it. You know, I mean, I've gotten in fights before, not because I looked for those fights, but because I was running and they caught up. And I've hurt people, but it killed me inside. Like it's not right. And our women, we have been degrading them and just not giving them their their position of who you really are. And men, they need to wake up. They need to wake up.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank
And
you,
our
sir.
children, because
You're
our
welcome
children.
anytime. Listen, I have many conversations, trust and believe. So
Yes,
thank
no,
you for
you're fine.
joining.
You're fine. No, I thank you for.
I'm going to let the next two people in. I seen Josephine, and who was it? It was Angelica. Where'd you go, sweetie? Josephine Witch. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you? Angelica, where are you, sweetie? You can come back up. Or
I'm
Angel.
good, thank you.
Josephine.
This has been a really interesting. Sorry.
How long have you been in here?
Oh, what's the time now? About an hour and a half.
So you got a chance to catch
Been watching.
the Satanists.
Yeah. I've been in a couple of his lives over the last few months. I think when he originally came to TikTok, I sat listening to a live. Like he's interesting to listen to and talk to.
Okay. No, you're fine. You can come back up, sweetie. Josephine, tell me how you feel, sweetie.
Right, so I'm a British traditional witch. I've been practicing for decades now. So my background is my family are Irish and Scottish. I was raised in a strict, I'm going to say Irish Catholic house because of who my parents were. I was sent to a convent school. I grew up in Catholicism, and it never resonated with me. It was one of those things that I just had to do because I was told to. I never liked it. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to religion.
Okay. Me too. That's why I left Christianity. I'll talk about it one day on one of my lives. Go ahead.
But when I was always told, whilst I live under my parents' roof, I go to church, I do this, blah, 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 blah. And then when I was 18, I left, and then I realised there was more out there. My grandma was the one that taught me folk practices. She never called herself a witch, but that's what she was. She was a Cailleach. So in Irish, that's a practitioner, right? And she would have been someone they would have called over in Ireland the cure. So she had the cure for certain ailments. So there were certain people, practitioners, that were known to be able to help and cure certain things.
Yes, ma'am.
So my grandma was one of them. She taught me about what you would call root work. So working with plants, flowers, the earth, and so forth.
That's right.
And that's what I grew up learning. And then sadly, she died when I was just coming on to 21. And then I kind of was lost because she was my foundation. My grandma was a second mother to me. And I then walked away from Catholicism because I was just like, it wasn't for me. I was trying to find my way, navigating like the spiritual paths. And in like the early 2000s, there wasn't much out there on spiritualism and witchcraft. It was all very new aged, whitewashed, like Wicca and so forth. And it was like navigating my ways all around this. And I went down some paths and I was like, no, this isn't for me. This was not part of my practice. And I ended up curating my own practice on top of what my grandma taught me. And because I was born and raised in England, I started researching about traditional British witchcraft. And then I came to understand about the cunning folk, wise men, healers, charmers, and so forth. And that's what we were called pre witch hunts. You were like these healers and your charmers and your wise men and your cunning folk and like horsemen and toad witches. There's British witchcraft here is extremely regional depending on where you lived. There are some similarities, excuse me, between the practices, but it's very regional depending where you were. So when King James came about and then he rewrote the Bible and like came out with his own version, and then he went into writing demonology, which was pretty much to go against practitioners. And then you had the witch hunts and whatnot. But what people don't realize about him is people were still using cunning folk. They were still into these spiritual practices because they were helping, because doctors weren't a thing around there. And then when doctors did come into play, you had to pay for them. You couldn't afford them. And then apothecaries came along, which were like pharmacists. They were less expensive, still couldn't afford them, but people were still turning to their local cunning folk for help because they weren't charging. It was like more of a bartering system with them, you know?
And this is all a part of history. This is exactly how.
Yeah. So whilst the witch trials were happening, people were like, "Oh, hate witches, blah blah blah." Yeah, they did. It was a control factor. But whilst that was happening, they were still consulting with cunning folk. Like you were still able, like some people were able to practice until you couldn't heal someone, and then they turned against you. And like this is what people don't understand about the witch trials and whatnot over here. A lot of people that were like unalived sadly weren't practitioners, and it wasn't just about those that were trialed. It was like parliamentary soldiers marching back from London, going to Oxford after the Civil War. They would find a lone woman who was, you know, spending time next to a river, being really calm. And because she wouldn't answer their questions, because you know, Parliament and soldiers, they would shoot her on the spot, and then they would go and tell this big grand story about the Newbury witch. No one knew she was a witch. She was just a woman that maybe was taking time to herself by a river, and she crossed paths with soldiers, like all these things. So, yeah, we like practitioners were a big staple within history for us over here. And until James I decided that he wanted to be bloody, and that whole part of history was just gruesome, and it was a control factor. So yeah, that's like the history of practices over here. And I think a lot of people who aren't from this side of the world don't really understand that, you know?
No, and I see, and I've done my research on that. So coming into spirituality as a spiritual life coach, I practice. I practice the occult. I do. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I know my voodoo roots. I know about root work. I know about the originality of a lot of things. I understand people all the way from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and Aleister Crowley and other things from you guys' side of the way that I've done so much research. I'm a mixture of of a lot of different
He
things.
plays.
And you
Yeah,
have to do your research to understand where certain things come from and why certain sectors of people do what they do. There's always an originator, just like there's an originator in Christianity.
It's like when you mentioned Crowley and Golden Dawn, Crowley, he brought in ceremonial magic, right? He wanted, even though he brought folk practices to the forefront, making it more acceptable to publicly practice, he still wanted to cut that off to the rich. You know, he would like, and back then, not middle class, working class and poor, they couldn't read, they couldn't write. You know, so he was trying to close off this thousand-year practice from the original people practicing them to bring it into an elite practice. And there's a whole big difference. Like when you say, "Oh, like you're over here, you're practicing witchcraft, and whatnot," they're like, "Oh, Wicca or Felamites and Crowley," and it's like, no, that's not that's not that's not the truth of it. Do you know what I mean? And again, that's when like colonization comes into play, because Crowley did take from a lot of cultures and a lot of traditions.
He sure did.
Crowley
Aleister Crowley was doing a lot. I have some tarot decks that are based off of Aleister Crowley, but he was doing a lot. He was doing a lot. He was scaring people.
Everywhere.
He was doing the most. But it's interesting to hear. I've gotten to hear from Satanists. I've gotten to hear from you, someone from Croatia. I can't wait to have this live again and really. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You have a good night. You got to get to work. You're welcome to come anytime. I'm gonna have more conversations. I promise you. I promise you, because I want to get to the point to where it can get big enough where people can really talk about their spiritual beliefs and feel safe, and not it end up going back to the witch trials or just one religion taking over. Because if in the event one religion was to fully take over and everyone was forced, there would be so much craziness that would happen, and I don't want to see that. I want people to feel comfortable with being different, being themselves, and being a part of whatever they choose to be a part of, because history made it that way and it should stay that way, that people have that choice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Do you want me to answer the questions quickly?
Yes,
Because I feel like I'm taking up time.
Yes, no, go ahead, listen. So no one else has requested in, and so you'll end up being the last one unless someone wants to request in. I'm in Nevada, so I am a Pacific time zone. I'm always live. I will go live every day because I have people trying to doppelgang me and fakely reach out to people. So I'll be live all the time talking about something outside of my readings that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays to help people. So go ahead.
So is the Bible fiction? I think originally it wasn't. I think it's just like, if we look at it collectively, it's like a diary of everyone that was involved. How many parts of the Bible is there? How many books? There's like 30 odd books, isn't there? For a deacon's daughter, my memory is terrible, but there's all these different books, right? At some point, there is some kind of truth in the middle of that. You know, like they say what they say about the truth. There's three sides of the truth: their story, and then like the truth, the middle of it. But I think it's been edited and added over the centuries for some form of control of the people. You know, and I think it's got to a point where a lot of it isn't real, but there is some truths to it.
Okay.
You know. Law of attraction, real. It's the whole thing is you. If you don't work for it, you're not going to get it. You can't just sit there. In my view, you can't just sit there and go, "Oh, I want a new house, I want a new car," but you're not working.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're not like my whole view on the world is balance. Like if you want to take, you've got to give a little. Like this is with my spell work as well. When I do spell work, I give back to the land. It's so. I think if you're continuously working towards something, you're going to get it. It's the time frame. I don't know about the time frame. I just don't think you can sit there and
no, you can't.
out
You
of
definitely
thin air,
can't sit there. The law of attraction does not work like that, but some people think it does. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Like
you gotta put things into it. Like if you're looking, and I'm just going to say this and then I'm going to let you answer the rest of the questions. If you're looking to build a business and start a business, you can't just automatically assume that you're going to be able to start it by speaking it into existence. While speaking it into existence, you should be searching up every avenue that you can to open your business, from funding to researching how to get licensing, insurance, which I have for my business. What I'm speaking to you, I do. You should be researching and doing different things along with the fact that you're speaking things into existence. And while you speak things into existence, the spirit of the divine will help you to find that correct path that puts you on the direction of what you're putting out there. That's how I feel. You shouldn't just be sitting there.
It's like you get people go, well, intention is everything. Okay, so you intend to go and fill your car up with fuel. Unless you physically take your car to that petrol station, it's not going to fill up, is it? It's just not going to magically appear. You've got to put in the work to get back out. It's just not going to fall out. I mean, it would be nice if you could just sit there and it would land in your lap. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think it works that way.
If it would really work like that, you know how many more people would actually be doing. Go ahead, sweetie.
So tarot, real or fake? So my whole take on tarot is it's like the in between. It's the mobile phone. I can use it, but I don't necessarily need it. It's a conduit. It allows me to see something physical. Maybe if I'm having problems putting something together, I'll pull myself tarot and I go, right, okay, now I can see it in the physical. That card, if you go, some people will use the Rider-Waite translation. Some people will come up with their own. But, if you go by the translation of a card, right, okay, I'm having trouble trying to figure this out. One, like what 10 of Wands comes out, right, okay, yeah, now that makes sense. I've got a direction to go to. It's a tool. It's a conduit. It just helps, and there are some people that just aren't spiritually inclined and they do go to readers, and it's nice for them to physically see something as well, and I think it's just a nice tool. For me, like, you don't necessarily need it, but I also do think, especially on social media, there are a lot of fakes out there. But
we don't listen. There's a whole other live, because listen, even though I'm a spiritual life coach and I'm a reader, y'all be on the lookout for that live where I decide to pull on these tarot readers, because it's gonna come. It's gonna come, because I want we got to separate the real from the fake, but we also have to be honest. And I believe if you're really helping people, awesome, help people. But when you're up here lying and you're doing extras and it's just for money, I really want to get down to why people do reading, and I'm gonna have a live on it. Y'all keep your eyes open. It's coming. It's coming.
I will.
Go ahead.
That'll be interesting. Faith healing. Now, I think if you go with it's all in the mind, I think it's possible for certain ailments, like say we come to stress, anxiety, having that there, that belief to help you get through it will help you, but when it comes to something more serious, I'll give you explanation. So my mum's best friend sadly passed away last year, cancer. She'd been battling about 12, 13 years, I think it was. It started off with breast cancer and then it just moved about all the body. And about 3 years ago, she changed her whole diet. Like she took out processed foods, sugars. She pretty much went vegan, this clean, real clean eating diet, because she was just sick and tired of it coming back and coming back. And she kept beating it. So she changed this diet. She started meditating. She started getting into the whole like faith healing side of things, and it worked. For her, it worked, right? She went back after 6 months, considering when she started this, they said, right, it's in your lymph nodes, it's in other parts of the body. She went back 6 months later after changing her whole lifestyle, and they were like, all of your cancer, all of your tumors have disappeared. Like they just couldn't work out why it disappeared. Fine. She lived a year after that. She lived a year cancer free. She didn't change anything she was doing. However, the tumors came back, and they came back aggressively to the point that they were like, you've got a year. There's nothing we can do. And, you know, to her, she believed it. It gave her enough time to spend with her family, her kids, her friends. She knew it wasn't going to last long because it kept coming back no matter what she was doing. But this was the longest period she had gone without, and she felt free. She'd gone on a cruise. She'd done all, like, she was living her best life. And then all of a sudden it came back rapidly. It took her out. But she had made peace with herself. She had done what she needed to do, and she knew it was going to come back. And I was like, right, was that because of the change of lifestyle? There was less stress. There was this and that, you know, and she would talk to my mum about it. And my mum was like, she truly believed what she had done had helped her only to give her enough time to sort things out.
Okay.
Because every like she'd had all these different operations, like she was fighting. The Irish in her was like, I'm not giving up, you know, you're not taking me this time. But it got to the point, and when it got to that point, she was like, do you know what? I'm done now. I'm ready. Like, and she was 64, 65 when she passed. So she'd had a good old life, but when we talk about faith healing, I think it can help the minor ailments. I think it can help you relax enough to give you enough time. I don't personally believe it can fully heal someone that has
a major element.
Yeah. Oh, I can't do accents. I am terrible at accents, even though my family are Irish. Listen, I think I insult my Irish family quite a lot. Listen, I'll tell you that story. I went on a ghost hunt on Friday, and we went to a place called Gloucester Prison here. A massive prison, big history, known for being haunted and whatnot, right? So we were in this wing, and it's where it would have originally been an asylum. And we were like, right, let's reenact what happened in the past, see if we can get some activity. So everyone's banging on the doors, the cell doors, like, get up, you know, like food, breakfast, whatnot. And I'm just standing in pure darkness, and I start singing Rule Britannia. Right, I hate the song, my grandma hated it. Just out of nowhere, I start bellowing out Rule Britannia, right? I don't know why. I felt quite sick after singing it. We come home at the weekend, I start researching, and they had the original founder of Sinn Féin and about 30 Sinn Féin members, which is the Irish party, were imprisoned there. And I was like, oh. So my grandma's turning in her grave. So I'm just like, don't.
Okay, and last question, and I think you were the last person to request. Yes, okay. Do you believe that leaving one spiritual belief for another is wrong?
I don't believe it's wrong. But you do see people that will jump from one belief to another, and they are searching for something. And I think you have to step back and ask yourself, what are you looking for? Like, what is your main goal? What are you looking for? Because until you're honest with yourself, you're not going to find what you're after. Like you can jump from Abrahamic beliefs to pagan beliefs to this, that, or whatnot, and you can do that your whole life and still not find what you're looking for. So like you could cut out all of that by sitting down and going, what do I truly want? You know?
Okay.
And yeah, it's like I took, when I left Catholicism, I denounced it, and I was like, I was like, what do I want? And I was like, I wanted to get back to the roots of my family, my ancestry, because me and my brother were the first English in the family. We were the crossover between the Scottish and the Irish. So like they come from tiny little villages. And it was like, what am I missing? I felt like I was missing something, especially after my grandma died. And my dad was never in, like my birth father was never in that picture. So when I talk about my dad, he's my stepdad. But I was just like, I'm not connecting. I just feel like I'm floating and there's no connection. So I went back to my Celtic roots, and I started studying Irish paganism.
I know a
And
little bit about the Celtics, the Nordics. Yeah, I've done a lot of research on different. Yes, go ahead.
and I found my peace within that. Like I started reconnecting with my family a lot. There's this thing with the Irish, like the old school Irish is, when there's been troubles in the past, you don't look back, you move forward, you don't talk about it. And that seemed to be a big problem with the family, is because there was trauma, whether or not like there's religious trauma with them, and then there was trauma with the British, and like my grandma just didn't talk about it, and she ended up moving over here for World War II to become a nurse because they needed money, because they were a poor family. And then she ended up getting stuck over here, and like the Irish were treated crap over here. And she just never talked about anything. And it was, when you sit back and you're like, trauma does pass down. So you have the trauma that her family, her parents suffered, because they would have suffered a lot more than she did. But, you know, and then she's come over here. She's experienced trauma herself over here. My mum, she didn't to an extent, but because her parents were Irish, even though she was born here, she was still sort of pushed aside with that. But then when it came to my generation, there was nothing of that sort. So that makes sense. It was like those troubles of being Irish were left behind in early 80s, I'd want to say. So it never came down to me. And my mum was like, there was some things that she was on her toes about. She knew that she couldn't tell certain areas, but her parents are Irish, like especially with all the IRA activity, because it would be used against her.
Gotcha.
But I never had that. I never, you know, so there's some, and I still see it now, like with when they say generational trauma, it's not just about the mental side of it, it's the physical as well, because you've got illnesses that are passed down. I think with Angkor Timur, which is the famine, you had generations that came after that formed illnesses. I think it was like an anemia because of that. And my mum was the one that had the anemia from it, but I didn't have it. Like it's all these little things that trickle down, and it's like with religious trauma as well.
Yeah, I'm an
You see
advocate for religious trauma. So if you ever run across anyone who needs a voice, I'm here. I went through religious trauma, being born and raised in the church, so I don't play no games about the people being bullied because of a spiritual belief tells you to bully or mistreat someone. Nah.
I'm, and like I think I had this kind of awakening to why my grandma was the way she was, and I had this. I sat down. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I sat down and I really looked at things after talking to some family over in Ireland. I'd visited them, and we'd had this big conversation. And then I'd come home, and after a couple of days, I sat there and I thought about what we talked about, and I was like, So that explains this. That explains like, and I'm fortunate enough, and a lot of us are fortunate enough that, I mean, like in Ireland, they do still have issues, but I've got that privilege that I was born here, and it never affected me, and it will never affect me. And because of that, I want to remember my grandma. I want to pay her homage and respect, because what her and her generation and even now, like, why I'm never gonna experience trauma that a lot of the world are experiencing, but it kind of opened my mind up to, well, hang on, yeah, my grandma had that, but there are people that are still having it, you know. And that that was part of a spiritual development for me, like, no,
it's
and I
okay.
think when
Listen. Oh my God, we can talk so much. Listen, I don't know if you're following me, but please, if you are, I'll definitely follow you back. We're, as TikTok, creators, we are only allowed to follow up to 10,000 people. I'm pretty sure you know that, but I would like for you to come back in when I get ready to do discussions about the different, like, religions, especially since you deal with Celtic, because before I became, and thank you for coming back, Kat, before I became a spiritual life coach, as I was going down the path of spiritualism, I started researching Wicca. I was researching Wiccan. I was researching so many different things and different paths. And a lot of everyone's path and beliefs are extremely different.
Definitely. And I think I've been on TikTok since, I think I joined in 2020 within the lockdowns, and I've noticed a lot of the spiritual toxicity, the bypassing, the dog whistles. I've noticed a lot of that on TikTok, because I've never really delved into like the witch and the spiritual community online that much, because it's bad enough in person, to be fair.
I was getting ready to say, to be very fair, I wouldn't blame you. On Facebook, honey, child, the witch community over there, in some of the groups that I'm in, I just browse, and the witch community, and the spiritual community, some of it on TikTok, I be appalled. Like me, I'm a spiritual life coach, right? But I like to get pretty. So I just recently had fox locks dreads in my hair, right? And I do nails. So I make, designer press-ons. This, I do nails, right?
Oh, that's pretty.
So I had someone come in my live and tell me that I should not be offering readings with fake hair and fake nails on, who was a spiritualist. How y'all gonna tell somebody how they should live their life and what they should be doing and what they can and cannot do because of the way that they look? Why do every religion or spiritual belief decides that this is what they want to do? This is how you treat people. I dislike that to the core of my soul.
It's like they're trying to sort of typecast you, like you go, oh, folk practitioner, this spiritualist, they want you to be in like a black cloak, holding a broomstick, circling parks and whatnot, calling on Satan. Like my neighbour thinks I'm summoning demons in my garden left, right, and centre. I'm like, I'm not. I'm only going out to pick the mint.
That's why I had the Satanists come in here, because being born and raised in the church, I was taught that, oh, the Satanists, they follow Satan. And so I had been in their lives before, and they came in here because they were actually getting ready to come in and check me, because a fake page reached out to them and gave them all the same fake reading. And so as they came in, once they found out that it wasn't me, they came in very respectfully, and I advised them to come in and read their 9 principles and their 11 principles. And people were shocked in the comments that they don't follow Satan at all. They don't worship the devil at all. They believe in self, and they believe in a set of beliefs.
There's this is why I think there are a lot of people, especially on social media, that do have a religious trauma and they don't realize it, you know, and the way that they come across to other practitioners, it's just like, do you not understand you're transferring that onto us? You know, it's like I don't have an issue with Christian witches because it is a thing. Like, you know, traditionally,
Mm-mm.
when Christianity came
Mm-mm.
over here and it melded in, you had practitioners that stayed pagan. You had practitioners that adapted and turned to Christianity, still practiced their craft. You had pagan practitioners that took from Christianity and they used the Psalms like it's a grimoire spell book. You know, like
Yeah, they
that's what
did.
they do. And I'm
Voodoo
like,
and hoodoo, coming from New Orleans, Louisiana, voodoo and hoodoo, they use psalms in their root work. Yeah. hmm
mhm. Yeah,
I'm
we
not
do as
mad
well.
at
That's
you.
part of.
I know you're not mad at it, but my personal dislike for Christian witches being coming from Christian,
Mm.
and I would never talk down on anyone for their beliefs. So all of you all who are sitting here, this is me. I'm saying this is how I feel. Because because the word of God, their word goes against that, I feel believe that they shouldn't mix that. I feel believe with certain religions, even though everyone is entitled to their belief, I just
Mm.
think certain people shouldn't mix certain things. Believe what you want, mix what you want, but in the end, some of them don't. They don't. They don't mesh. But
It's like
it's not for me to
they
say.
don't
It's not my
research.
business. But
It's
that's how I feel.
mm, it's like the whole research aspect of it. Like, are you
Of
gonna
course.
um like deconstruct this, that, and whatever to be able to do that? You know, it's like practices. You see, like eclectic. Oh, I can't stand the word eclectic, but eclectic witches. They will practice, all like they will worship and work with different gods from different pantheons, and it's like
Mhm.
you do understand that some of these pantheons would never have naturally crossed over. Like I mean, like you had the Greek Roman, the Greco Roman, that crossover, Italian Roman. You know, those set of things crossed over, but you get people practicing Kemetic with Norse, and it's like, do you not understand? They just don't. You're trying to meld these two practices together that just naturally would not, and their ethoses are totally different as well.
Right. Right.
Um, you know,
And
and
then
it's
you have
like,
and then you have the one you have if you go really really old with some of the witchcraft, you have the chaotic witches.
mm-hmm.
And the chaotic witches be doing they do the most. But that's their belief.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that do what you want as long as you're not hurting no one, as long as you're not being toxic with it. You know, I've seen there was a lass here in the UK on TikTok. Her account's gone.
Good
She's
night.
here under a different name. But she was putting out all this spiritual toxic nonsense, right? And she's like, come join my online school. This lass was charging people £230 a month to be part of our school. I kid you not, right? We worked it out. 'Cause we called her out. We exposed her because we were like this. Like there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff as well. But she was making around 70,000 a month off of between TikTok and Facebook from her school, online school. Um, a lot of it was behind the paywall. We managed to get behind the paywall, and it was a lot of Pinterest stuff. It was a lot of spiritual toxicity. You're only a witch if you have these signs. You know, it's like going on about star seeds and eugenics, but fluffing it up. You know, and it was just this isn't right.
Well,
And there was a lot of that on here.
yeah, I've been hearing about that. And my thing is this. the spirit is always going to show up those who are fake. One thing that's never going to change about me is I'm a genuine person, and I wish that we all could get along. If we could stop the racism in spirituality, maybe we can stop the racism in real life too. Like, everybody has to stop being so divided. And people always get shown up. They get shown up for what they're doing. They get showed up for their ill intent. It shows up. And y'all were able to see it. And I know she might have been making thousands and thousands of dollars, but some people felt that what she was saying was true, and so they bought into it. What is your belief system? Do you have multiple lineage practices that most would think clash? So if you have multiple, if you have multiple lineage practices that could possibly clash, if it's a part of your lineage, for you, it wouldn't necessarily clash. Your truth is that it is part of your bloodline. It's part of your lineage. And so therefore you have the right to practice them. Just like for me, I am a spiritualist. I'm a spiritual life coach. I tend to pull and grab from a lot of different things. I'm not in one set thing. But I'm also from New Orleans, Louisiana. So technically, I am a part of a closed practice. Voodoo and hoodoo are closed practices. Those practices were given to the people who were slaves. And so, coming from New Orleans, Louisiana, my family's name is actually Norton. And so those people were slaves. So I know Norton is a white or YT name, excuse me. So I know that some of my ancestors and some of my people were slaves. So therefore, voodoo and hoodoo would not be closed to me. But voodoo and hoodoo is considered a closed practice unless your family was in slavery. So for me, that part of my lineage, even though I dabble in other things, that part of that lineage is true to me and I'm able to practice it. And so for you, whatever your lineage is, you're able to practice it because it's true for you. So it would only clash if you believe it to clash. That's like in the Bible. A lot of people, when I was a Christian, one of the scriptures in the Bible I used to bring up all the time that I did not understand, and I'm not going to say the scripture because I said I don't want scriptures on the live, but it was basically a text that talked about nothing is unclean to man. Nothing is unclean to man except for that particular person that deems it to be unclean. It is unclean to him. I used to talk to the pastor about that all the time. Like, what does this mean? Because I don't understand. And so for me, I believe that generally for everybody, if you believe that something is unclean to you, it's unclean to you. I feel you should use your morals. No matter what you're practicing, use your morals, use your level of understanding between right and wrong to know what's wrong for you.
I think a lot of people get lost in it all as well, which is it's I never understand. Like, okay, so you get practitioners over here that want to practice everything under the sun apart from what their land's practice is, and it's like, why are you searching for all this when you could look at home? Because that's where the power, like when they say like find your power, step into your power and all that, is until you look at your own on your own doorstep, you're not going to find what you're looking for.
Well, some of those people are never satisfied. They're forever attaining power. They're forever attaining knowledge. Like me, I will forever research. I'm always researching because I want to know what I'm speaking about when I'm speaking. So when I talk about things with Christianity and how things were changed or whatever it was, I've done my research on it, so I know what I'm speaking about. When I talk about spiritualism and certain spiritual practices that I do, I've done my research on it. So I think it's okay to research. I don't think that it's smart to take every everything that you're researching and put it into practice. Everything isn't for
Mhm.
everybody.
See, I did this whole I turned 41 in March, so I'm not a spring chicken to this, but I had to research and find out, right, why has this been added into these practices over here like 20 odd years ago? And it took me down paths of like, so why are people using white sage? Like, so, I would go into that. What is this herb? Because you can't grow it over here. It's not from here. Where is it from? So that took me down that path. And I'm like, right, so I don't use that. There's no need for me to use it. There's no need for anyone over here to use it. Like we've got enough of our own plants over here anyway that, like
Look,
to look
see,
into those. And then
this is beautiful to hear things from different sides of the equator because I love sage.
Mm. Oh, well, I've got my garden sage, my purple sage. I've got all that. Like clary, I love clary sage, but it's just like our land over here gives us enough. So why do we need to take from other, especially like native indigenous practices? We don't need to take from them. There's no point doing that. Leave that to them. That's their own thing. They've gone through enough as it is. Like so okay, give white sage back. We don't need that. We've got our own. Learn about what's on your own land. Like there is so much over here that people don't even know or understand because they've not taken that time to look, but they've gone for what's all over these new age spiritual
So
shops,
what you're saying is
Um,
people are pulling from other religions and other sectors instead of understanding what they already have.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like poppets. Like we use poppets over here. They would be practice. You get people calling them voodoo dolls. It's like, no, it's not a voodoo doll. It's a poppet. Like, and I didn't like, when I was 18, I'm like, what's a voodoo doll? I don't understand it. I see what's on TV. I'm going to research it. Then I found out what it was for. And I was like, yeah, that's not, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to stick to poppets because that's what a poppet is. And you still see it all over. And you get like English white witches that still don't have a clue, and they're going, you'll see them answer Facebook groups. Oh, my ex has scorned me, and people are like, I'll make a voodoo doll. And it's like, why? Do you know what I mean? It's like, why? No. And it's oh, what's the other thing? The big thing over here at the moment. I think it's hoodoo. It's hot. Is it hot foot powder?
Yes, hot foot powder. Hot
Yeah.
foot powder and graveyard dirt.
See, we have graveyard dirt over here. But our whole thing of the graveyard, I don't know how other practices do it, but you have to befriend the graveyard. You have to make friends with it, and like do a lot of other things to be able to take that dirt away from it. Like cemetery dirt and graveyard dirt differ slightly. Like then we have, I can't say the word because we're on the live, but unalive dirt where a tragedy has happened, that kind of thing. Do I identify as a white witch? No. So I'm what you'd call a traditional witch. Like over here, there is no such, apart from skin color, there is no such thing as white witch. Like, I mean, if we go historically, there was
She's in
traditionally
I'm
what they
sorry, Kat just joined back into the live. Tell her where you're from, sweetie.
um but there is, if we go historically, hi Kaz, there
Uh,
would have been something called
Josephine, tell her what side of the equator you're from, or you don't have to say specifically, but
England.
hmm
England. So so if we go historically over here, there was something called black witches, but black witches, it wasn't to do with where they're from, it was to do with their practice necromancy. And they
See, there
were
we go. There it is.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
where the
um,
dark magic came from. But we see.
mhm, mhm, mhm. And your cunning folk and your healers and your charmers didn't like them. They would ward and protect against them. Your black witches that were traditionally over here were people that you would avoid. They were necromancers. A lot of people, you didn't identify as a witch well, maybe 100 years or so ago. We'll go witch trials. You didn't identify as a witch. You were a cunning folk. You were a healer. You're a charmer.
Uh-huh.
You had your toad witches, which was a bit different, but black witches, yeah, it was, the term witch was seen as, you just didn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, people are they're reclaiming that word, you know what I mean, which is fine. But this is why I always say research the history of witchcraft. Like, I understand in the US, Black Witch has a lot of racial issues that go along with it, and over here, yes, it does commonly now as well. But if we're going traditionally, there was a whole different meaning behind that, you know.
I can't wait to have this live to really get everybody to come in and talk about their spiritual beliefs. From Celtic, excuse me, to Nordic to Egyptian to um Satanism to atheists. I really want people to come in and talk about their spiritual belief, because today has been a very interesting live. I will have to tell you, for the ones who are here, um, thank you for being here. I'm getting ready to close up after Kat speaks. Hold on one second.
But yeah, I just said Kaz is in the audience. She's an actress. She's an Irish traditional witch. She's from Ireland, so
okay,
like you'll have my views that will cross over with hers, but she'll have certain different practices that are different to mine because you know she's native to Ireland and so forth. But
of course I'm
interesting to
gonna
talk to
follow
when it
her,
comes
because
to.
I will be having these discussions. These discussions ain't going nowhere. I already have another page ready in case they decide to unalive my platform. Um, but I want to have these discussions because people have the right to feel and believe in their tradition, because with there being over 4,000 religions, everyone was raised differently, everyone was taught differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's different sides of the world, so it's supposed to be different. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I personally just don't like when people are bullied for it. But it's been interesting tonight, given the opportunity for everyone to really speak. I have gotten to hear from you. We're here in England. I have got to hear from someone in Croatia. I got to talk to two Satanists, a few Christians. So it's been an interesting live for the past 3, 4, maybe 5 hours. I don't know how long I've been up here.
I was gonna say you've been up here a minute, Cece.
I have. I was up for 2 hours before this, so it's been 5 total. Um, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
Well, thank
The
you for having
reason
me
I
up here.
You're
the
welcome,
reason I
and
asked
you're
Josephine.
welcome to come. You're welcome to come anytime, anytime. Because trust me, I'm gonna have lots of conversations.
Thank
The
you.
reason the reason I asked Josephine, if you don't mind, really quickly about white witches, because how it was explained to me is that white witches means pure, black witch means evil, and then there is a gray, which means that you've kind of doused over into the other side, which made it gray magic. So that's why I was asking specifically that question. So I appreciate you educating on that.
Oh yeah,
That's what I.
some people do believe in those. Like, if anybody asks, I would say I'm a gray, but I don't. Wouldn't you don't necessarily have to identify that way.
No, they. So it. I think all these terms, green, grey, whatnot, they're all more so new age terms, right? So your grey is you dabble in all aspects. You don't really have one. You kind of cross over. And I think a lot of us, if we look at it, we are all in that grey zone. But if we go to black and white witches, like historically, your black witch was your necromancer. They were the bad. The people didn't associate with them to the point that you didn't call yourself a witch. You were cunning folk, so forth. But if we were to put white witch into context, that would be more so cunning folk. And when I say white, I'm not talking about the colour. I'm talking about because they work with spirits. They worked with the fair folk, the fairy faith, it didn't mean that they weren't all positive, because they weren't, because they could step over into the not so good good areas as well. So don't be fooled by that. But um, traditionally it would have been hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Your black witch was your necromancer. They dealt in the the not good side. They would have been seen bad. They were people that you would have stayed away from. But you wouldn't have called yourself a white witch. It wasn't there. Even still today, my personal opinion is to use those terms is more new age, and I don't think a lot of people know the actual meanings to them, you know?
No, that's not my account. So hold on, Kat and Josephine. So listen,
Okay.
I have collectively underscore different and collectively different 777. If any of you guys have friend requested me and followed me, some bot account which is trying to tarnish my name, I feel like it's a clocker. Um, they're reaching out to you and giving you fake readings. I do not message people on this app. For those of you who are here, if you see collectively underscore different to message you, block it, report it immediately, please. If you see collectively different one, block it. I only have 2 accounts. I never send messages on TikTok whatsoever. My readings are done on live unless you click the link in my bio, and I run a business. I do not do any of that fake false. I'm going to reach out to you and see if I can. No. Okay. You're welcome. I'm so sorry about that. Everybody, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm on the right path of truly helping people that they're already on that bull crap, but I'm so sorry that you was reached out to by someone fake. That's so annoying.
Yeah. They come. The moment your account starts growing, whether or not you got a popularity in live or videos, those fake accounts keep coming, and they all say the same thing. Oh, let me give you a reading. Send me $50. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, we don't reach out to you. You know, you reach out to us. A lot of us have our own shops. We're not going to go
I'm
and
a
tap for
spiritual
business
life coach
privately. You
who
know.
is building her platform. You're fine, sweetie. You didn't interrupt. I'm glad you guys come and
No, not at
ask.
all.
I would rather you ask than to be upset thinking I'm a fake.
Mm.
Please ask.
But
But
yeah, I think this is.
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
Josephine. But recently, I have been informed from my lineage, like it was not taught to me, but it is in my lineage, and that is a part of my gift. And on this platform, I just wanted to kind of mention that, and that's the reason that I was very openly curious because Cece knows more of my story, but um, I'm definitely intrigued and trying to learn what I have been gifted. Um, so I appreciate anything you share.
Of course, of course. Awesome. Listen, guys, follow Josephine and also follow Kat. She's one of my moderators. She's a sweetheart. And follow anyone that you feel connected to follow. I believe I also followed Josephine. I followed your friend who came in. I'm trying with this platform, and I'm gonna say this so we can get out of here because I've been on here forever. I know I'm going to need some tea in the morning. Um, my objective isn't to come against anyone's spiritual belief. My objective is to help people to understand that your spiritual belief is your totem and your connection to the true divine power, to the true divine God. And no one should be made to feel a certain way because they believe and think different. And that's what I'm building this platform to do. And outside of that, I am a religious trauma and a spiritual abuse advocate. And so if you are mistreating people, whether you are a witch, a pastor, a pope, whoever you are, I feel that you should be dealt with in the ways that regular people who go to jail and regular people who do wrong and have to go to court, I feel like you should be dealt with for the things that you're doing to mistreat people instead of the churches are they're keeping these things under wrap and people are praying and people are enclosing it and enabling and I've been through the enabling, I've been through the essay, I've been through so much, which is a couple of reasons why I left church. My dad essayed me, my ex-husband and them, they were um there was so much money laundering and so much falsehood, so much fakeness that they do to get money out of people, and the way that they mistreat and abuse people. I I don't think that it's okay for people to do that in any name of any deity or any god, no matter what the religious text is. And we should not be enabling people to mistreat people in the name of a church, a deity, a God, a text, a Bible. I don't care what it is. It could be a book that I just wrote tomorrow. You shouldn't be using it to mistreat people. And so that's what my platform is about. My platform is about us understanding that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different view, a different spiritual belief. And whether it works for you or not, you don't have to accept that, but you should be able to respect it and not mistreat people for it. And at the same time, if you are mistreating people in the name of a god or a deity or whatever, that shouldn't be going on either. It shouldn't. It's morally wrong. It's morally wrong for these churches to let these pastors SA people and then let them keep their place, and they're not be stripped of their place. They not lose their position, and they never go to jail or get picked up from the cops for what they're doing, and they just pray about it all and keep it enclosed. And no, we are enabling and hurting people. And so I'm against bullying of any kind. So if y'all are here tonight, the ones who are still here, I want y'all to know why I'm building this platform. I'm against bullying of any kind. I stand for being good and being right and just towards an individual. I stand for difference. And that's why I built this platform, and that's why I started coming on TikTok, because I'm seeing a lot of craziness on TikTok, and hey, that's them if that's what they want to do. It's not for me to say that they're wrong, but what I am going to do is stand up against what I feel, believe is morally wrong, and maybe hope to open eyes of others so that they can also stand against what's morally wrong, but not standing against someone's spiritual belief just because you think it's wrong. So I just wanted to say that if no one knew who I was and why I'm doing this, I wanted to say that for the last few people who were here. Did anyone else have anything that they wanted to say?
I said it earlier. Go ahead, Miss Josephine.
I'm just going to say I've got to jump off because I've got to go and get ready for work now. So thank you for having me.
Yes, you are welcome, and thank you for joining. You can come anytime, sweetie.
Thank you, and I hope you all have a good day, good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are.
Yes, bye, honey. It was a pleasure seeing you and a pleasure meeting you. I hope to see you in many more of my lives. Trust me, I'll plenty of them, and I will definitely join yours if you ever have any conversations or things of that nature.
Thank you. Right, I've got to run now, so speak to you all soon. Bye.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I said it
You're
earlier in the live.
I'm glad that you feel that way, sweetie. I'm different, and you know, I am this way because I was mistreated in Christianity. And I haven't talked fully about it, and I'm gonna talk about it in a live one day, and I'm gonna let you guys really ask questions about why I left Christianity. I went through quite a bit of spiritual abuse and religious trauma that I have probably just now healed from over the past maybe 3 years. For about 15 years of my life, from my ex-husband telling me I will never be great, I will never be nothing because I left the will of God, while he was screwing his best friend, which was the apostle of the church. But you're going against God's word, doing what you're doing with a man, but you can yet tell me what you think God is saying. See, I've been through it. It's just I went through quite a bit of manipulation, and I haven't fully expressed it all. Eventually I'm going to get to the point to where I write a book, but the manipulation is horrible. We should not be manipulating people with our belief system because we think we have the power to do so. We shouldn't. If I ever if I ever at any point, and this is recorded and I'm going to have it on my YouTube so you can keep my words and write it down and tack it the date. If I ever was to get to the point to where I manipulated somebody because of my belief system, I would want to be unalived. You shouldn't manipulate people. It's just so immorally wrong. And that's how I believe. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to say?
I just want to say that you're a beautiful, beautiful person. I tell you that more times than you probably want to hear. But guys, like I was just like most of you. I found her one night. She was doing her readings, and she has really been a blessing and a help. And she's a real deal. I know I'm one of her mods, but I'm a mod because I truly support what I see her doing day in and day out for a lot of people. So if you haven't followed her, make sure to follow her because
thank you, sweetie.
She's beautiful.
Listen,
absolutely,
and we're all human, so I'm not acting like people don't make mistakes. Listen, if you knew about me before becoming a spiritual life coach, if you knew about me before becoming a spiritualist, you'd be like, dang, she was doing that and that plus that. Wow. We all go through changes and we eventually evolve. And you can't let anyone hold you to your past. You can't let anyone hold you to what you used to be and what you used to do. As you continue to evolve, that's who you are now. Your past does not control your present, nor does it control your future. You have to make that difference. You have to make that change and that distinction as you continue to evolve as a human being, as you continue to evolve as a person. Your past does not define you. You don't live in that. You don't have to live in it. You don't have to accept it. If you choose to do something different tomorrow, that's you. And it should be okay. As long as you're not hurting people and immorally treating people, it's okay for you to make that change. But I'm going to get my butt off here because I could talk all night about that. It was a blessing having this live today. It was enlightening. Yeah, it took me years too. It took me years. Trust and believe. Thank you all for joining the live today. Catch if you guys are interested in being a part of my other lives, definitely follow. I will follow those back who I can. I do readings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yes, I do charge. I have a business. Okay? Please don't get offended because I charge. I have a business. However, I do still help people for free in the midst of those readings. That's because in my heart, even though my girls don't want me to do free readings because they feel I use too much of my energy, I still believe in helping people. You never know what someone's going through. Okay? So if there's anyone who wanted to speak to me specifically, you can click sign up in my bio and send me your name, your number, your email address, and a little note, and I'll call you. I do not offer you readings over the phone. I don't charge you for phone calls. I'm a human. I'll call you. Okay. So you're able to send me your information and tell me how you feel. And there's also a link in my bio if you want to follow any of my social media. These go on my YouTube. My YouTube is in that link. The website to purchase nails is in that link. The website to follow me on IG, Facebook, Twitter. All of that is in that link in my bio next to sign up. It's a pillar. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate. Love and light to all of you guys. Thank you for being a part of the live tonight, and I hope to see you on many more. Bye, guys. Yeah, we gotta stick together because that's too much of the. We gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that because these witches aren't sticking together, just like these people in religions aren't sticking together. Don't nobody know how to stick together no more. We're going to talk about that. I promise you. Bye, guys.